Tonight, the BHS girls entertain the Clovis Cougars from Memorial Stadium, the site where Clovis defeated BHS last year for the Central Section Championship, but both teams have new quarterbacks this year.
Well, Mark, I think Bakersfield, after last week's loss, really wants to come back tonight and really get a victory. They're going to have to come out strong and really play aggressively to beat a program like Clovis.
BHS is ranked number 2 in the Valley, Clovis number 3. BHS is loaded with a lot of huge individuals, but it didn't help much last week when they lost to Concord de La Salle 48-20.
Well, you're right, but tonight they're playing a team more at their level, and Clovis, the defending Central Section champion. You're going to see Bakersfield come out tonight, Mark, and I think really try to get their running game established and really put it to this Clovis team.
Well, BHS likes to run the ball more than Clovis. Clovis likes the passing game.
Well, they're a little smaller this year, but a little quicker, and their passing game's been more effective in the first 2 games. So look for Bakersfield to run the football and look for Clovis to throw the football. It's an intriguing matchup.
BHS won last year's matchup in the Pigskin Classic up in Fresno. Tonight, exclusively on CNN SI, Time Warner Cable Channel 52, it's BHS and Clovis.
Over the last 60 years, our law firm has helped thousands of accident victims win millions of dollars. But our work goes beyond the money. It's really about people. 15 years ago, I represented the mother of a 4-week-old baby who was permanently brain damaged when her infant seat failed in an automobile accident. I testified before the legislature and fought for laws to protect children. Today, children are safer because of those laws.
When you need us, we'll be there.
Have you videotaped a special event that just has to be shared with your friends and relatives? Then Time Warner Productions is the only place you'll need to go for quality on-time duplication. We'll take your videotape and transfer it to whatever format you want and make enough copies for everyone on your list. We'll even convert your foreign videotapes to meet American standards, as well as convert your videos to send overseas. Just stop by Time Warner Productions in the Time Warner Cable office on Select Avenue and tell us, I need a dub. It's fast, easy, and the only way to go to get multiple copies of your videos.
Holiday Ford Lincoln Mercury is clearing out the 98s. Now we have $1,000 cash back, plus 0.9% financing on Escorts, Contours, Mystiques, Tracers, and Rangers. Now that's real savings. How about a red carpet lease on a new 98 Explorer? Come in and buy one, and the first payment up to $500 is on us. Don't make a wrong turn. Make the turn for Lerdo Highway in Shafter. We're easy to get to from both the 5 and 99 freeways. Say habla español.
Come to Holiday!
Now the kickoff is underway between Clovis and BHS from Memorial Stadium on CNN SI, Time Warner Cable Channel 52, the second game of the Pigskin Classic today. Foothill and Buchanan tied at 21 apiece. These schools played for the Central Section Championship last year. Clovis coming away victorious. BHS won the earlier game, the Pigskin Classic, when it was played at Bulldog Stadium in Fresno in 1997. So BHS moving right to left across your TV dial. Of course, Clovis in the other direction. BHS in their all blue uniforms with white letters. Clovis with light gold pants, white jerseys, and blue letters, gold helmets. McGill looking for somebody. Must have been a mix-up in the backfield. He will go down. He was looking for Diaz, number 6, but Diaz was nowhere to be found. And McGill has to eat it. The quarterback for the Drillers.
Well, Mark, not a very auspicious start for BHS here in the first series against Clovis. Like you said, a little mix-up in the backfield there between McGill and Diaz, the tailback. But it's early out. We'll see what Bakersfield can do here on their first drive. I think you would agree it's important to get off on the right foot here and get some confidence going, especially after last week's debacle for Bakersfield.
Last week they didn't score any points until the fourth quarter. James McGill's the quarterback, 6'3", 200. Pitch out to Diaz. Cuts back, hit hard, goes down at about the 16. Timothy Diaz is 5'8", 160 pounds, a senior. Patrick Osborne, the outstanding wide receiver and overall athlete at BHS, number 4. He's 6'3", about 196. Lining up on the right side, also a senior. His brother played quarterback for BHS last year, Tim Osborne. He is now at Fresno State. Offensive line for the Drillers, you'll see like Robert Bergman, number 70, 6'6", 250, a sophomore. Eric Tobin, a senior, number 76, 6'2", 228. McGill to throw momentarily. Now he decides to run it. And he is plastered by about 4 Cougars as he gets up to about the 20-yard line, looking downfield for a couple of receivers.
Well, Mark, that was a situation there where I think it was a run all the way. McGill rolling out to his right. Osborne was downfield, but never really was open. He was double covered. Clovis knows all about Pat Osborne. So it was a situation where they decided to run the ball. Great pursuit by Clovis. Shows that good quickness in their defense there.
And speaking of Pat Osborne, he is a punter. Punts left-footed for BHS. Taken by Clovis, midfield 50, 45, and to about the 43. So excellent field position for the Clovis Cougars, taken by number 29, Adam Hernandez. He's a senior, 150 pounds. So Clovis has a first drive in BHS territory at the 44-yard line.
Mark, I think it's important here for Bakersfield after last week to come out here defensively and really set the tone. What Bakersfield needs is a big play from their defense in this game to really help the offense out, who's been struggling this year.
Patrick, the quarterback, straight handoff, and not much there for number 15, Brian Heights.
Well, Mark, Raymond Stansberry, we've talked a lot about him in the defensive line at 6'5", 295. He was in on the stop that time. An excellent defensive player with very good quickness for a big man. There's your major college prospect there.
Raymond Stansberry, number 61 for BHS. Also check out Dwayne Winters, number 66, 6'2", 252-pound senior. And Jermaine McDermott, number 88, 6'2", 225, a senior. Second running play, left side, good opening, first down for number 12 for Clovis. As they run up the left side, Willis Walker, number 12. He's a senior, about 155 pounds or so. First and 10 for the Clovis Cougars.
Well, Mark, that was a game-saving tackle there by Bryce McGill, the right corner for Bakersfield High. Again, Clovis, not known for the running game so far this year, has come out here aggressively, Mark, with good field position, running the football right at the strength of the BHS defense.
Levance Ray wide to the right. Quarterback is thrown over the middle. Incomplete. A little bit too high for Juan Alva, number 8. Maybe could have had it. He is a senior. Had to go up the ladder a little bit. Of course, he's only 5'8", and if that was Osborne going for the pass, he probably would have caught it. He's 6'4". That's why I like those tall receivers over the middle.
Yeah, Mark, a good pressure that time by Justin Smith, number 55, the left defensive end for Bakersfield. He's 6'5", 220, so they got some good size in that defense.
Call it second and 10 for Clovis at the BHS 31-yard line. 2 receivers to each side, single running back. Patrick to throw, lofts it high in the air. It is knocked away, and no foul. Good defense by number 5, Bryce McGill. Defensive back for BHS, a senior, 6 feet, 185. Did a perfect job there.
Again, Mark, good pressure by the BHS defensive line. Christopher Chambers, 5'9", 195, a junior, was in there on the quarterback. Again, good pressure, also by Stansberry and Justin Smith. So Bakersfield getting a good push on the defensive front, making the quarterback, Patrick, throw the ball maybe a little bit before he wanted to on that play.
Chambers, number 52 for the Drillers. 3rd and 10. Hand off, and the Drillers up to the task. It'll be 4th down for Clovis.
Well, Mark, we've talked a lot about number 45, Calvin Hosey. He was in on that stop, the outside 6'3", 228. Another fine player.
Hosey, McDermott over there for BHS. 4th down. 4th and a long 10 for Clovis, and they're going for it. Quarterback is Patrick, looking things at his coaches on the sidelines, looking for the play. 8:19 to play in the first quarter. They have a man in motion. Looks over the defense. Fires it. Picked off by Osborne. To the 40, midfield 50. He'll go all the way. 40, 20, 10. Touchdown, BHS.
Well, Mark, on that play there, the quarterback, Patrick, took a 3-step drop and threw an out pattern, but he threw in double coverage. Pat Osborne saw the ball coming. He just reached up over the offensive receiver, picked it off, and ran down the right sidelines. I don't think Patrick even saw him. He saw the play all the way, though, Osborne. He was right there. His eyes were glued on the quarterback.
Well, the quarterback's only 5'8". BHS has a lot of big defensive linemen. They're going to give him trouble if he's setting up in the pocket. And like you said, Osborne smelled it out. He's a great athlete. I knew once he caught it, he'd go all the way. He's much faster than he looks. He takes long strides. He's 6'4". He's a gamer. He makes big plays. That's what he did there. Some movement. They don't call a flag. Now they throw the flag. Might have been movement in the BHS offensive line for that PAT.
Well, Mark, see, part of the problem with being a short quarterback is he had to throw the ball a little bit higher to get it over the defensive line. And that ball was thrown a little bit higher to the receiver. The receiver couldn't reach it. Osborne at 6'4" just reached over the receiver and then made the catch and went down the right sideline. That's one of the negatives of being a short quarterback. You have to elevate the football to get it over the defensive line. And that's one of the problems when you're 5'8" in the pocket. You're almost better off to roll out a little bit and get away from that defensive pressure.
Okay, they will try it again. 5 yards against BHS. 6-0 Drillers.
Well, Mark, didn't I say earlier the defense of Bakersfield would have to set the tone tonight? With the offense struggling this year, the defense is their strong point, and they're going to have to set the tone, giving that offense a good field position and also making plays.
And Osborne tries the PAT. It is up, and it is good. Does it all. He punts, kicks off, intercepts the pass, and returns it for a score.
Well, Mark, it's lucky he didn't go on that baseball trip that he was planning on going, and he would have missed this game and the next game at Centennial next week. So I'm sure Bakersfield's very thankful that Pat Osborne's still playing and not gone.
Yeah, I talked to head coach Tim Hartnett on Thursday. He's definitely glad that Osborne decided to stay home. They canceled that trip anyway. Like you said, he prefers baseball. That's his best sport.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, Mark. I don't think no matter how many Osbornes they had, it wouldn't have helped them against Concord de La Salle last week.
Yeah.
Well, Mark, a very impressive defensive showing by Bakersfield High. I was a little bit surprised that Clovis was going for it there, Mark, in that situation. It was 4th and 11. And, if they could have punted that ball, got Bakersfield back deep in their territory. So a little bit of a gamble. What do you think in that situation going forward?
I was somewhat surprised at 4th and 10, maybe 4th and 2, but it was somewhat of a telegraphed play. The quarterback at 5'8", I think, has to roll out. I think he's going to have trouble throwing over the BHS defensive lineman. That's caused some of the problems. We see Pat kicking off, kicks off, punts, does PAT, plays wide receiver, defensive back, has returned to score tonight. So BHS leads at 7-0. Defense makes the play for the Drillers.
Well, Mark, I know you're going to live and die by the pass, but I think Clovis is really going to try to stay with the pass here. That's their strong point with their quarterback, Patrick. He likes to throw the football. He's got a bevy of excellent receivers. And I don't think they're big enough in the offensive line to really power the ball against the Bakersfield defensive line. So you're going to see him put the ball in the air, and he's not going to be deterred too much by that pass interception there.
Okay, we'll see what happens. Lennon McCormick wide to the right for Clovis. Inside handoff. And BHS just plasters the ball carrier. 3 guys there. Graham, also number 42 for the Drillers. Jeff Dunlap, a returning from last year. Dennis, BHS has a lot of guys that have returned from last year, especially defensively.
Well, Mark, they're a solid team, and they had 7 shutouts last year with a lot of these guys back. So, when they can play a team a little bit in their league, they're very effective. De La Salle, like we said, is an exceptional team and number 1 in the nation in high school, so you really can't go by that as a barometer.
Okay, 2nd and 11 for Clovis. 7-0 BHS. Patrick rolling to his left, getting away from that rush, fires it out, incomplete. Nice coverage by number 24, Nick Johnson. For BHS, a senior, 180-pounder. One-on-one coverage on number 20 for Clovis, and number 20 is Levance Ray.
Well, you're right, Mark. He's trying to roll out there, but even in that situation, Calvin Hosey, who's 6'3", defensive end, it makes it difficult for somebody 5'8" to throw over somebody 6'3". So he's not really fast enough to get around Hosey, and he's shorter. So he's struggling a little bit, even when he rolls out. BHS has 2 tall defensive ends.
He's going to go on Stansbury coming at you, 6'5", 290. He's right there in the middle, right tackle. Good pressure again. Patrick scrambling for his life to the 20, gets a good block, but a flag comes down, maybe a clip. As BHS scrambles on top of him at the 22-yard line, but probably a foul against Clovis, either a clip or a low block, as they threw it in the offensive backfoot of Clovis. Patrick just really scrambling for his life. BHS seemingly with about 15 players out there.
One thing, Mark, that Bakersfield had a little bit of a problem with last week, and we note that, is that they have a lot of guys going both ways. And against a real good football team, when you don't have a lot of guys on your squad, Bakersfield probably runs about 55, 56 players. It's very difficult against a real good team. They have a lot of guys going both ways, which they have. They tend to get tired.
That seems odd. At a school like BHS, you would think that they wouldn't have to go both ways. They would have enough athletes. But I guess many of their best athletes are the ones want to put out there.
Well, if you look at their team, and the TV viewers will look at, a lot of the players on defense also play offense, so they get very little rest, and that kind of wears on a team in the fourth quarter, especially when you play a team that's your level of ability. And that's going to be a problem for Bakersfield High down the season, Mark, is getting a little bit worn down with some of their players.
3rd and 21, draw play, and guess who's there? Mr. Stansberry. He said hello to the running back. Number 28, Aaron Torienti, is about 175 pounds. Stansbury about 290. Gave him a little wake-up call. So that draw play did not fool Stansbury or BHS. 4th down for Clovis. They're punting from their own end zone. Osborne back deep for the Drillers. Standing at the 45-yard line. Here come the Drillers. Barely gets the punt away. End over end, might have been blocked partially. Takes a Clovis roll, but BHS will have it at the Clovis 45-yard line.
Well, Mark, Bakersfield looks very good here so far in the first quarter defensively. They're putting tremendous pressure on the quarterback, Patrick. They're showing some good outside speed. Mark, they're getting a good outside push from Hosey and Jermaine McDermott, and then they're getting a very good inside push from Stansbury. So they're very strong, and they're getting very good linebacker play from Graham and Dunlap.
1st and 10 for BHS, so the Clovis 45, 7-0 Drillers. There's back to Diaz, looking for the sweep, cuts back, and Clovis does a great job of closing the gap. He might get back to the line of scrimmage. Good defense by the Cougars. 2nd and 10 for BHS.
Well, Mark, so far this year, the Bakersfield offense has really been struggling. The offensive line, some of the players are a little bit new from last year. Quarterback is a little bit inexperienced, and the running game really has not developed yet. I don't think the running backs for Bakersfield High, Mark, really feel the confidence that they're going to have yet. They're kind of just picking their way in. They're not really running hard. So Hartnett's going to have to really work on that running game to get it going.
Thomas Hellman wide to the left. Now he's in motion for BHS. 2nd and 10. Osborne wide right. Like BHS moved early, and they throw a flag. I don't know if it was Osborne or somebody on the right side of the offensive line that moved early, and I think that the cadence that McGill used threw off some of the BHS players. So it's got to be against BHS. 5-yard penalty against the Drillers. It's unusual when your own team is fooled by your own cadence. And I think that's what happened. 5:21 to play in the first quarter. 7-0 BHS. And you're watching the high school football game of the week exclusively on CNN SI, Time Warner Cable, Channel 52 with Mark and Dennis Heffernan. 2nd and 15 for BHS. As we have Osborne and Royce Jennings over here. Jennings in a slot. There's Kindred, number 14. Slot left. Pass to Osborne over the middle. Looked like he had a chance to get more. Picked up 5 yards on inside looking pattern as he's trying to split the defense, but Clovis closed very well.
Well, Mark, that was a nice play by Kirk Johnson, number 98 for Clovis. He's a junior, defensive line, 6'1", 185. He showed good pursuit that time, kind of went right through the block, stuck his arm out, and was able to trip up Pat Osborne for a short gain.
Osborne extreme wide left for BHS at 3rd and 10. McGill calling signals, looking for Osborne. Now he sprints to his right. McGill looking downfield, under heavy rush, and he goes down. He had one receiver going deep, that was Thomas Howman, and not a lot of blockers in front of him. And McGill had to take the sack. 4th down, and BHS should be punting it away.
Again, Mark, Bakersfield having to do what they don't like to do is trying to throw the football out on each down. They'd like to be able to run that ball, but as you know, so far here in the first quarter, their running game has not really gotten that confidence that they really need. The running backs haven't really established themselves as to who's going to really be that good runner for them, that stud that they need.
Dennis, does Pat Osborne ever leave the field?
Not too
Kicks
often.
it to the left side, nice pooch punt. Takes a BHS roll and goes out at the 10-yard line. He does it all. That takes a lot of skill to kick it inside a 15-yard line. And Pat does the punting, kicks off, PAT, wide receiver, defensive back for BHS. And as you can see, he's out there all the time.
Yeah, the only thing he doesn't do is run the football. That's kind of what they need right now. But Bakersfield this year, Mark, is going to rely on the experience of their defense. That's really where their strength is. And as we always tell everybody, offense wins games, but defense wins championships. And Bakersfield has a solid defense so far.
Well, Dennis, Justin Smith lining up at left defensive end, number 55 for BHS. Were the drillers off sides, or was there movement in the Clovis offensive line? That's the question right there.
Attention, please, Chris, the water boy.
As you talked about Christopher Chambers, who made a tackle earlier, he's rather small for a down lineman, but he's got to be very quick and tough. It's against BHS. Number 52, 5'9", 195. And rather unusual size for a down lineman for BHS. But obviously he's very strong in the upper body and very quick. BHS with more side on the right side of the defensive line.
Correction, Chris is 4 Buchanan.
Head off up to the 22-yard line. That was a nice piece of running by number 12, Willis Walker, first down for Clovis. Follow his blockers very well. As I said, there's more size on the BHS defensive line to the other side. And he ran to the right side, which is the BHS defensive front left side.
Mark, that was a nice block by Chris Behringer of Clovis, a 6'1", 205-pound lineman. So sprung the runner and made a good run. Again, a Bakersfield High player down here. And like you say, without a lot of depth on their team, you hate to see anybody really get hurt if you're Bakersfield High, especially on the defensive end.
It's 1st and 10 for the Clovis Cougars at their own 25-yard line. 3:42 to play in the first quarter. 7-0 BHS. BHS defense has dominated the game so far. The offense really has yet to get on track. But they didn't get on track last week until the fourth quarter when they were down 48-0.
Well, Mark, it's Stansberry, the one who's down, and hopefully he's not hurt seriously here, but they're looking at his legs.
Definitely.
So,
6'5", 290, key player for them. The man in the middle.
61, Ray Stansberry for the drillers.
He's up, walking on his own power. He's about the biggest of the big for BHS. Returning from last year, number 61, plays in the middle. Might just leave for a few plays. We'll see. We'll check him out, see what's happening.
Well, Mark, I think Clovis would like to be able to run the football as much as possible, because when they don't run that football, Bakersfield doesn't respect the running game, and they get tremendous push and put pressure on the quarterback, Patrick. So they've got to be able to run the football, even if they don't make a lot of yards. Let Bakersfield know that they can run the ball a little bit.
They want to put him into a situation where he has to pass. That is Patrick. 2 receivers to each side. 3:25 to play in the first. There's a fake draw play action. Looking downfield. There's a post pattern. His man is open. He's got it and drops it. Looked like he should have had a number 20, Levance Ray. Might have been distracted by the arm of the BHS defensive back.
Well, Mark, Allen Mackey was back there, and it looked like he took his eye off the receiver to look back and see what the quarterback was doing. And when he did that, the receiver got out a yard in front of him and really had the pass, just dropped it. So again, a missed opportunity there for Clovis.
Yeah, the receiver was distracted, didn't follow the ball away. He weaved under it well, but didn't let it go into his hands. 2nd and 10 for Clovis at their own 25. With a drop. Oh, what a hit by number 88 for BHS, Jermaine McDermott. Hit the running back, much like Stansbury did earlier on the running back at the 5-yard line. Jermaine McDermott, 6'2", 225. He definitely smelled out that play. He said hello to the running back, number 15, which is Brian Hines.
Jermaine McDermott, a second-year starter, started last year as a junior. And, Mark, he likes to hit, doesn't he? He looks for somebody to hit, and he's a very hard-nosed and excellent football player. Really smells out the plays very well. A good instinctive football player.
We see Kindred lining up at right outside linebacker. Quarterback's going to be hit from behind. Completed pass. Oh, slips a tackle. 30-yard line. They'll be shy of the first down. Looked like Hosey had a chance to get him or Graham back there. And number 28 was able to get some good yardage, Aaron Toriente. Now he's the one that was hit by Stansberg at the 5-yard line earlier. He slipped that arm tackle, and it got up to about 3 yards shy of the first down mark, but it's fourth down. Punting time for Clovis. 2:05 to play in the first quarter, 7-0 in favor of BHS. And deep for the Drillers, Osborne and number 5, Bryce McGill. And we have some flags flying around the place. This is the second game of the triple hitter from Memorial Stadium today. Earlier, Foothill Buchanan played to a 21-21 tie. They don't have tiebreakers in these games, which I really don't like.
Mark, number 75 for Bakersfield High, Levi Halley, I think is his name. He's been a very effective player in there, really causing a lot of havoc in the interior line. 5'8", 202-pound junior.
Punt goes about straight up in the air of the punt. Unbelievable. Wow. He probably has about a 12-yard punt. That's about a 12-yard punt or so for Clovis. And BHS once again with very good field position and Clovis territory for the second consecutive time. They're at the 45-yard line. Maybe the ball caught some of that wind.
Well, Mark, number 77 for Bakersfield, the left tackle, Ralph Lomas, is 6'1", 239. And number 70, Robert Bergman, 6'6", 250. They're the two tackles. And Bakersfield kind of likes to run either left or right. They run behind those two players.
And Bergman is only a sophomore. 250 already, 6'6". McGill, play action. Thought about throwing it. Now he decides to run it and goes down. Looking deep downfield for number 20, Royce Jennings, who was at the 15-yard line. Does it look to you like McGill is having trouble deciding whether to throw or run the ball?
Well, yes, and I think that's the inexperience.
Tends to hold the ball too long.
Right, and he hasn't played quarterback since he was in junior high. And I think it's a situation, Mark, where he's a little undecided. And, as he improves during the season, the Bakersfield will get much better, and he will get better. Right now, he's a little inexperienced, playing against some pretty good football teams.
McGill with the handoff to Kindred. He's hit and dropped for maybe a yard loss. Clovis Cougars coming on defensively on the series. It'll be 3rd and 11. Many times when he does a play action and rolls out, I think in his heart he wants to run. It's a passing play, and he holds the ball for a long time. Then when he decides to run, it's too late. They've already converged around him. He's got to make those decisions a little bit earlier.
Well, it's a situation right now where both teams are struggling with their offense. I think in Clovis's case, it's a situation where we're playing against a very good defense. In Bakersfield's case, I think it's a question of not having a consistent running game, Mark, and the quarterback being inexperienced.
Yeah, to take the heat off the quarterback, take some of the pressure off of him. McGill will throw it over the middle, complete. First down to the tight end. Number 86 for BHS, Nick Ortiz. 5'11", 215, a nice safe pass from McGill. He was open. Just throw it short. That's what you want to do.
Right, and you don't have to really go deep a lot. I mean, the short passes, the 3-step drops are real important because it takes the pressure of the defense off you, and also the quarterback gets some confidence. When he can complete a couple passes, nothing is better for your confidence than that.
We talked about before going on there, he's a big guy, 6'3", 208 McGill. You got to take advantage of his athletic ability. After one, it is BHS 7, Clovis nothing. Exclusively, you're watching the high school football game of the week on CNN SI, Time Warner Cable Channel 52.
Well, Mark, so far here in the first quarter, I like the way Bakersfield's played. They came out here, I thought, and really became aggressive. And I think, as they talked about during the week, they wanted to put last week's game behind them and come out and play aggressively. And in a way, I thought, well, is it a good idea playing a pretty good football team after you play a great team? Sometimes you're better off to play a team that's not very good and get some confidence, but maybe this is better for Bakersfield. Get right back into the saddle against the defending section champion. Come out here. If you could get a win today, it would really boost their confidence. So maybe it's better to come out and play another good team, and that way in your mind you say, hey, we're a good football team.
Coach Hardian and I agreed that it was best to play a pretty good football team. He doesn't like playing weak teams. He said the only way you can get better is play top of the notch or close to top of the notch.
Well, also, too, Mark, when you get beat by a team like De La Salle, if you play a weak team the week after, your team has a tendency to think about the game a lot, have a lingering effect. Against a team like Clovis, you don't have a lot of time thinking about it because you got another good football team the next week. So I think your recovery time is a lot quicker when you play a team like Clovis.
But as you know, Dennis, BHS lost to Clovis in the finals last year, so there was somewhat of a revenge factor for them. They played them twice last season. 1st and 10 for the Drillers. They led at 7-0. McGill fires it out to the left. It's complete. Nice move, but not much yard room there for Nick Johnson. More of a side pass, and Clovis came up very well defensively as they converge on the wide receiver.
Well, Mark, there's a case of a quarterback just being very much telegraphing it. I mean, he knew what he was going to do before he ever threw the ball. There was a defensive man there. The play wasn't going to go anywhere, but yet that was the play, so he throws it for no gain. That's where McGill has to be experienced and say, hey, we got to run an audible or something. This guy's close.
Check it out. He lost 2 yards on the completion, minus 2 yards, 2nd and 12. Diaz up the middle. Tim Diaz is fast, but he's only about 160 pounds, so really doesn't have the size to break a lot of tackles. And if 1 or 2 guys hit him, he's going to go down like that.
Well, Mark, I've never seen Bakersfield struggle so much with their running game. I mean, their runners aren't making any yards at all so far here in the first half. I mean, it's been they're probably averaging around 2 or 3 yards a carry. I mean, you're not going to go anywhere unless they get their running game going because, you know, they got to run the football. They're not a team that's going to be able to throw effectively all the time. I mean, once in a while you can go to Osborne, but they've got to learn to run that ball.
Well, they used number 14, Kindred, in the backfield last year, late in the season. He did a good job. He also plays defense. I don't think he's run the ball yet tonight. Lining up at fullback, McGill rolling to his right. He's going to face some trouble, and he will go down at the 35-yard line. McGill was rolling out right. His receivers were way downfield. Didn't have a chance to throw it to him. And just kind of ate it.
Mark, again, Brennan Gary for Clovis, 5'8", 170 made the stop. So as we see, Clovis showing great speed. And when McGill rolls out, Mark, a little undecided, but they have a lot of speed, and they're running them down a lot from the outside. I think Bakersfield would be much better off running in between the tackles. When they go wide, it seems like the pursuit of Clovis has been more effective.
Well, I also don't agree with the fact the receivers are running 30 and 40-yard patterns. I don't think he could throw the ball effectively that far. I think you have to have the tight end coming over the middle, have some crossing patterns. You know, make the plays simpler for McGill. He didn't have the confidence to throw 40-yard bullets. On that play, somebody should have been running short, maybe 15 yards downfield so he can unload the ball. He's just taking sacks, and they're losing big yardage. Now they have 4th and 19. They're out of field goal range, and they got to go for it. They're at the Clovis 35. So BHS has started drives in very good field position, but they haven't really done much with it because their defense scored their only touchdown. Osborne wide to the left for BHS. Hallman wide right. 4th and 19. McGill sprint out left. Fires it off to the right side. It is intercepted, I believe, by Clovis at the 10-yard line.
Mark, again, not a good interception. He'd been better off to drop that ball. He made a great catch there, but I'm sure the coach will tell him when he comes to the sideline, hey, don't intercept that ball. That cost Clovis a good 25, 28 yards there. So that certainly was a nice play by the defensive back, but maybe not a very smart one.
Chris Torres, I thought that Torres should have gone up in the air and knocked the ball down because, as you know, he knocked the ball up in the air. Many times they could go back to the hands of the receiver for a touchdown. And that kind of play, you want to go up and knock the ball down, make sure it's not completed at all. And like you said, it was about 30 yards, but he gets credit for an INT. 1st and 10 for Clovis. Gets some breathing room out across the 10 to about the 12. And now a late flag, probably a personal foul penalty, a dead ball, which was after the play. As they run the ball out to about the 12-yard line. The flag came after the whistle. 9:53 to play in the first half. 7-0 BHS. And it is against the Drillers. 15 yards against BHS. That will get Clovis out of the hole as they're at their own 28-yard line.
Mark Walker for Clovis is only 5'9", about 160, so he's not a very big running back, but he's been very effective here. Runs hard and runs low to the ground, about a 5'8", and so he's been very effective running here and breaking some tackles.
And we have a timeout by BHS. First and 10 for Clovis at their own 28-yard line. 7-0 BHS, and a very fast moving game as far as the clock is concerned. Well, BHS scored once on that interception return by Pat Osborne early, but the offense has not generated a lot, despite the fact they've been able to start a couple of drives in Clovis territory.
Right, Mark. Their offense has been very unimpressive today, Bakersfield High. They don't show really much with the running game at all. I mean, the runners are not running with any confidence. The offensive line is not executing very well. The blocking schemes, whatever they're doing, is just not effective. I mean, I remember the days when they had Steve Wofford and James Wofford, even last year with McCoy.
And Bennett.
Right, and they really are weak in that offensive line right now in the running game. They'll have to really get that going if they want to be a contender down the road for the section championship.
First and 10 for Clovis. Patrick looking to the sideline. Chris Patrick, quarterback. He's only 5'8". Flips it out to the left sideline. It is incomplete to number 19. And Lenny McCormick. Good coverage by BHS. Double coverage, number 24 over there. Nick Johnson and McGill helping out.
Again, Mark, I'm not too sure about that kind of play either. I mean, Patrick trying to go deep, but he has the kind of arm that he can go short and maybe be a little more effective at throwing in double coverage down the field. Not a very good percentage type play for Clovis.
Second and 10 for the Cougars. The handoff. Not a bad run by number 15, Brian Heintz. McGill making the tackle for BHS as they take the ball to the 35-yard line. Called 3rd and 4 for Clovis as the lights begin to come on here at Memorial Stadium on the campus of Bakersfield College. Renovated, revamped Bakersfield College Stadium. Not quite completely revamped. They're getting there, though. 3rd and 4. Calling it 3rd and 3 for Clovis. First down. Quick opener. Number 12 for Clovis. And that's Willis Walk. You talked about him. He's quick. He can burst through those openings.
Well, Mark, Clovis again, Mark. Simons, the coach, likes to be balanced. And here in the first half, they've been very balanced. He has really, in the second quarter, really gone to the running game because Bakersfield's, dropping 5-6 men back in the secondary to guard against the pass. And I think Clovis has had some success running the football here in the first half.
Nick Diaz wide to the left for Clovis. I formation behind Patrick. The ball carried once again. Walker, gain of about 2 or 3 yards, slightly off the left side. Chambers making a tackle for BHS. And Aaron Graham helping him out. Second down for Clovis, 2nd and 7. 8:17 to play in the first half. 7-0 BHS.
I think this is a big drive here for Bakersfield, Mark. Even though they're ahead 7-0, I really think defensively they have to make a stand and try to get the ball back in good field position for their offense.
Walker was lined up wide to the left. He was in motion, and Clovis calls a timeout. They seem to have a little confusion in their offensive backfield. Ball on the 43-yard line. 7-0 BHS, second quarter action on CNN SI, Time Warner Cable, Channel 52.
Well, Mark, a pretty even game here in the first half so far. Both teams been able to move the ball sporadically offensively. I think Clovis has had a little bit better of the running game. But I think Bakersfield, like you say, they got Pat Osborne, and you know what he can do defensively and offensively, but he made the big play defensively in the first quarter. And it's been 7-0, but I think statistically we're looking at a pretty evenly matched teams right here. Nobody has really been able to establish the offensive consistency that they need. So it's been, I guess you could call it a defensive struggle. Both defenses have come to play.
A thought came to my mind. They've only been able to get the ball to Osborne one time offensively. You've got to get the ball to him more in a football game. It was a looking pattern, gain of 5 yards. Now when he caught the ball on defense and returned it for a touchdown, you have to find a way to get the ball to him offensively more.
You're right.
Now just throw him a short pass. He could take it 10, 15, 20 yards or so. Good rush on the quarterback. Patrick throws it out there. Picked off by BHS. 40 midfield. Now fumbles the ball. I think back to Clovis. Alan Mackey, I believe, with the interception. Got a little careless with the ball. I don't know if he ran into another BHS player or was hit by Clovis, but I think he fumbled. And I thought that Clovis picked it up. Yes, that's true. So Mackey with the interception, then a fumble. And the ball goes back to Clovis, and they pick up some yards.
Right, and that's just a play where a little undisciplined there. You know, when he caught the interception, he should have probably just gone down with the ball, and he was dancing around a little bit. And anytime a player dances around quite a bit, his own man knocked the ball away. He wasn't really watching where he was running there, and I think he tried to run before he really had good possession of the football, and as a result, fumbled it back to Clovis.
Clovis has the ball, BHS 42. And the Drillers up to the task on Walker. He probably doesn't get back to the line of scrimmage, running to the left side.
Well, Mark, a little surprising here in the second quarter. Bakersfield has not really been able to dominate so much the offensive line of Clovis, which I'm very surprised. Clovis has been able to run the football a little bit now. Obviously, Bakersfield's in kind of a defensive mode to watch the pass. But it seems like the defensive front for Bakersfield has been somewhat pushed back a little bit here by Clovis in the second quarter by a team much smaller than them. I'm a little bit surprised by that.
2nd and 10 for the Cougars. Patrick spends a lot of time looking to the sidelines and getting the play from his coach when the clock is running down. Back to pass, pretty good protection. Complete, first down. Nice throw and catch, number 19.
Again, Mark, Bakersfield not being able to get to the quarterback. Quarterback Patrick got a lot of time to throw. The offensive line is really doing a number on the Bakersfield defensive front. We talked a lot about Bakersfield being strong defensively, but they're struggling a little bit in this game with their defense, I think. I think Clovis has been able to move the football very, very good here in the second quarter, don't you?
Yeah, that was a nice pass play to McCormick. Ran the long down and out. Good pass, reception out of bounds, first down for Clovis at the BHS 31. Everything looked good about that play. Number 15 runs the ball. He's hit and dropped to the line of scrimmage. Hines.
Well, Mark, we know what Clovis is going to do here. You've got second and about 10 yards to go, and this is a team that likes to put the ball in the air, but I think the passing attack for Clovis has been very effective when Patrick has time to throw. And he's had more time to throw here in the second quarter than he did in the first quarter. So
look how many people BHS has on the defensive line. Linebackers are standing up, looking like they're going to blitz. Now they drop back a little bit. 2nd and 10, they're coming. He rolls to his right, and the pass complete to McCormick. Right at the first down marker, maybe stepped out of bounds a half yard shy. He saw the rush coming, decided to sprint out right, and delivered a nice pass to McCormick.
Yeah, like I said, their offensive line is really doing a good job of keeping Bakersfield from penetrating. They have not been able to really get much pressure on Patrick here in the second quarter. He's had a lot of time to throw the football, and I'll tell you what's done it. It's been the running game. They've been able to run the football a little more effectively, and that's really taken away that rush that they had in the first quarter. Bakersfield really here in the second half, Mark, they've been moving the football on their defense, and the defense has not done the job as they did in the first quarter. They're going to have a measurement here.
He might have stepped out of bounds a little bit shy of the first down, but of course the chain game's coming out. 5:47 to play in the first half. Two good throws from Patrick to McCormick. One on the left side, the other one on the right sidelines. And he was just shy of the first down.
Well, I think Bakersfield's defense, they're going to have to substitute a little bit here, Mark, because we're still in the first half, and some of their players are a little bit tired. And when you get a little bit tired, you tend to miss some tackles. You don't put quite the same pressure on the quarterback, and that's one of the problems with having a not much of a deep bench like Bakersfield. Players going both ways, and I noticed that the pass rush here in the second quarter has not been quite as intense for Bakersfield.
Quarterback keeper for Clovis. And it looks like they have the first down. 1st and 10 for the Cougars. Out of the BHS 21-yard line. An impressive drive for the Cougars. As they begin to run more effectively, the passing game opens up.
It's amazing, Mark. Here you lose every one of your starters from the Valley Championship team last year, Clovis, and you still come back with a very good offensive football team. It just goes to show you the credit that Ted Simons has been able to do over at Clovis for these years. You know, that's really amazing. You can come back with a whole new team and still be unbeaten and be effective the next year.
Kyle Biggs, the quarterback last year, one of the top probably in the state, had an outstanding receiver who was a great baseball player.
Cody Nolan.
We know about their baseball team. They were #1 in the nation. And they've been awesome for about 3 or 4 years or so. Beat Centennial in the finals. It's a new running back, number 44, but a flag is down in the backfield. That was Ryan Jane. Kindred making the stop. A late flag and holding against, was it against Clovis or BHS?
Well, there's been no sign, but I guess it's against Clovis here. The official didn't really point towards Clovis.
Well, I saw the area of the hold. There was 2 guys taking care of each other at the 30-yard line, and it's against Clovis. And that will nullify that game. As the clock's at 5:23 in the second quarter, 7-0 in favor of BHS.
Nice evening tonight, Mark. A very mild evening. We're getting into fall now. It's fall football season. Bakersfield and Clovis. Hey, for a high school game, you can't get much better than this.
No, you can't. Patrick at QB, first and long. Play action. Nice time to throw over the middle. Incomplete. Slightly over the head of number 8, Juan Alva. But he's only 5'8" and doesn't really climb the ladder that well. He's thrown a couple passes just over his head and he hasn't been able to get up there. But he got a 5'8" quarterback thrown to a 5'8" receiver with guys that are 6'2" and 6'3" howling in on both of them.
Good pressure that time by Calvin Hosey, Mark, the defensive end for Bakersfield High, number 45.
Calvin Hosey.
Put good pressure on the quarterback.
2nd and 21 for the Cougars at their BHS 32. In motion was Levance Ray for Clovis. Now he stopped. It's amazing. Quarterback looks over at the coach to get his play. They probably have too much time.
You see what they're doing there, Mark. You know what they're doing on offensively. They're lining up with the play that they're going to call. The coach then looks at the Bakersfield High defense, and then what he does is he either calls the same play or he'll audibilize it with hand signals. That's exactly what they're doing, and that's very effective, and that's difficult to do with a whole new offensive set, a team from last year. But what they do is he's waiting to see how Bakersfield lines up defensively, what kind of coverage they're in, and then he either calls the same play or he'll change it. That's why they line up, and every play looks over to the sidelines.
Unfortunately, you got to call a play a little bit quicker. That delay of game there, 5 yards. It also gives BHS more of a chance to rest on defense. Patrick at quarterback, he might be audibilizing too. Looks like a passing formation. Straight drop back from the 45. The pass incomplete. I think that pass should have been caught by number 20, Levance Ray. When a ball hits you in the hands, you got to come up with it. It would have been a short gain. Nice coverage by McGill.
Well, again, Mark, pretty good pressure by 88 McDermott and 33 Graham. But again, there was pressure there, but the quarterback still had time. But again, Bakersfield at that time smelled it out pretty well, knew it was a pass play. The play action really didn't fool them on that, and they really put good heat on the quarterback. This is no big deal to Clovis. 2nd long, 3rd long, because they like to throw the ball anyway. They're in good field position. So again, you're going to see them throw the ball downfield. If they don't get a first down, if they get the ball down, they might try a field goal. 3rd and 26 for Clovis. Have a man in motion, probably another delay of game against the Cougars. Now it's motion against Clovis. Clovis has just taken too much time to call a play, though. They seem really confused in their offense. I think it's fine for the coach to call a play from the sidelines, but they're waiting too much time. And you got people running around. They don't know who's supposed to be in motion. They had a delay of game, now in motion. They're 3rd and 31. They had an excellent opportunity, and all they're doing is going backwards. From the BHS 42. Have another man in motion here. Long count by Patrick. Out up the middle in the game. Maybe get back to the line of scrimmage on 3rd and 31. Well, Mark, one of the things you want to do is that when you're going to line up and look at the coaching staff on every play, you'd be better off just to not have a no huddle. Just line up at the line of scrimmage, then look over. That way, you don't have to huddle up on every play, and it would speed up the game.
Yeah, wasting a lot of time.
So if I was Clovis, what I would do is I would just line up on the line of scrimmage on no huddle offense. They'd probably get the play over with quicker.
Well, obviously, it was not a good series for Clovis.
Osborne,
The punt
and McGill.
almost blocked. Straight up in the air. BHS lets it drop. Goes straight up into the air. Clovis downs it at the 15-yard line. 4:25 to play in the first half. It's 7-0 BHS over Clovis.
First and 10 goes on their own 16.
Well, Mark, that was partly successful by the Bakersfield defense by executing, putting good pressure on the quarterback, doing a good job in the secondary, but also Clovis helped Bakersfield out by being a little bit confused on offense and some of the delay of game penalties. So I would say missed opportunity for Clovis, maybe a good defensive stand by Bakersfield High.
Well, it definitely gave BHS defense more time to rest, especially between plays. Diaz hit in the backfield and dropped. Like I said, Dennis, he's not going to break a lot of tackles. Maybe gets back to the line of scrimmage or a loss of a half yard. Second down and 10.5 for BHS as they try with a quick opener.
Well, Mark, he's not the kind of runner they've had in the past who really had that kind of speed to really break anything. He's averaging in this game so far about 2 yards a carry. That's just not going to get it done. Their offense has just not been on the field hardly at all. They need to give their defense a little bit of rest. They've got to pick up some first downs here and try to find a way to execute a little bit.
Thomas Hallman wide to the right for BHS. Slot. Kindred back there. He hasn't got the ball yet. Diaz again goes forward, and he's just ripped back. The problem, Dennis, is not so much his speed, it's a lack of strength and power. Now, he put his head down that time. They just busted him back. You know, he's 160, doesn't really run that hard for 160, and he's not really going to break a lot of tackles. I would give the ball to Kindred once in a while, 14. A guy that can run the ball. He's a fullback. You know, give the ball to somebody else, mix it up a little bit. Kindred's about 190 pounds. You know, you need some tough yardage. You can't always give it to the smallest guy in your backfield.
Well, Mark, he's just picking his way. They're not running hard at all. He's a little bit running a little, in my
timid.
opinion, running a little bit scared. I mean, you've got to go out there if you're going to be a runner, and you've got to bust in there. They've really got to work on that run.
I know what it is to try to be a running back. Kindred in motion, no flags are down. McGill's going to get hit from behind, now gets away to the 15. He will run it. Almost he loses a tackle, but goes down to 22.
Tackle by 32.
Again, Mark.
Baines with a good tackle.
Right.
Jax Baines.
Yeah, it was a rollout to the right. Actually, the receivers were covered. Clovis did a good job in the secondary, and so McGill decides to go the other way. He had a little bit of pressure from the right defensive end, rolls out to his left, and was not able to pick up the first down. Again, not a very effective series for Bakersfield. 3 downs and out. Their offense has really not done much of anything today. They're lucky that their defense has been able to pick up one score for them.
Kind of reminds me of Bakersfield College. Their defense kept them in the game, the one at the end against Los Angeles Valley. Down 10-0 after a half, 10-0 after 3. Had a brilliant 80-yard reception lateral play as the flag goes down. Beautiful punt by Osborne, but it might not count. Tries Clovis back to the 25. They fumble, and who has it? Whoa. Adam Hernandez fumbled the ball. Huge kick by Osborne. We'll see what the flags are all about. In that game, BC scores with 4:34 to play. They stopped LA Valley on their ensuing series. And then the Gage score with 3 seconds left on a sweep left by Bennett out of BHS. Showed some speed on that sweep. Beat him to the flag.
Right. Well, that's what Bakersfield has not been able to show tonight, is any team speed from the offensive running game. And, you know, it's going to be a tough year for them. And, you know, they're going to have to find a way to get their running game going, because, Mark, that's been a staple of their offense, is that running game. It's not. Yeah. It has not been the passing game. The passing game is there to complement the running game. So Coach Arnett's going to have to work hard here in the next couple weeks before the season starts, league season, in the Southeast Assembly League, and try to get that running game going, Mark, and get some communication and coordination in the running game.
We'll have to bring it back. 4th and 9 for BHS as Osborne will be punting from his own 1 yard line. Cougars looking for a good field position. Gets it off quick, more of a line drive this time. Takes a bounce. Clovis picks it up, goes down to 32, and that was number 32 for Clovis. Baines. So they get better field position here, but only by about 5 or 7 yards. 1:49 to play in the first half. 7-0 BHS over the Clovis Cougars.
Well, Mark, that was a little bit of a gamble by the returner there, punt returner for Clovis. That ball was bouncing, and Bakersfield had maybe a possibility there of getting that ball back, getting a turnover, getting the ball in good field position. But again, the defense for Bakersfield, frankly, has done the job tonight here in the first half. They got the 1 turnover they needed for the score, and that's really been the only offense that Bakersfield's really had. The offense hasn't generated anything.
Paddock to a second man through, breaks a couple of tackles, goes across the 35 to the 37-yard line. You heard those pads popping. Number 12, the ball carrier, Willis Walker. And see, Walker, Dennis, is only 155, but he runs hard.
Right.
Size is not necessarily the factor. Some guys just run harder than others. They busted him in the backfield. He bounced off and gained another 2 yards. He's only 155 at 5'9". You got to hit that hole and bust in there. I mean, if you run up the middle, it doesn't make that much a difference if you go to the outside. Patrick to throw, heavy rush on him, fires it to McCormick. Is it complete? Good footwork by McCormick. His third reception tonight. That's been a good plus. Patrick and McCormick tonight as they work that sideline pattern. First and 10, 1:07 to play, 7-0 BHS.
Well, again, Mark, Clovis showing really nice footwork there by McCormick. The rollout left by Patrick. Again, he had to throw across his body there. Good pressure by McDermott and some of the other drillers, but he was able to complete it for a first down.
Nick Diaz wide left. Man-to-man coverage for BHS. Patrick to throw, heavy protection. Double coverage on 2 receivers. It is knocked away, incomplete. McGill back there along with Alan Mackey. Clovis had 2 receivers in the same area. There were 4 ball players, 2 each for Clovis and BHS. And the ball falls incomplete.
Bakersfield getting good pressure on Patrick, but Patrick's been very effective, Mark, with that play action, because what that does is sometimes it's a delayed draw, and then but it's really slowed down the rush a little bit there. Bakersfield had to hesitate just a little bit, get in just enough time to throw the ball deep. So I would think in this situation here, Clovis is going to go deep here on second down, and probably will go deep on third down because they need a big play here.
Walker line up wide left. Patrick to throw it. Has McCormick out there, incomplete. Coverage by Mackey McGill once again. The pass was overthrown. So the long passes have not proven to be successful for Clovis, or for BHS for that matter. They could throw the ball deep, but BHS laying back and double coverage. And he overthrew that one, just basically threw it away. Third and long, 3rd and 10 for Clovis. 54 seconds left in the first half of a 7-0 ball game. Of the 2 games I've done this weekend, you can't say there's been a lot of offense. The defenses have dominated. Patrick away from the rush. Pass incomplete. Threw it from the 40, slightly behind the intended receiver. Almost picked off by BHS. But it's 4th down for the Cougars, and they will be punting it away. Kindred, the closest man to the ball. He's the guy I want to see get the ball on offense for BHS. He's been used primarily as a blocking back. I'd like to see him get the ball.
Mark, that was a very impressive defense stand by Bakersfield. Good pressure on the quarterback, good coverage in the secondary by all the defensive backs. Osborne, Mackey, Nick Johnson. Everybody did a fine job.
High punt. Taken by McGill at the 33-yard line. Fair catch. BHS has it 1st and 10. 39 seconds to play in the first half. 7-0 ball game. Osborne picked off a pass and went about 70 yards for the Drillers. That's been it. The only scoring tonight. Neither team has really been close to scoring. I think Clovis was, I don't know if they were in the red zone or close to the red zone at one time. BHS has not been, probably past the 30. So it has basically been a defensive struggle. Same thing I saw between LA Valley and BC. This is an era of offensive football. I'm seeing defensive games. At least the defenses are ahead of the offenses at this stage of the season. Kindred in motion. McGill play action. Heavy pressure. He runs it now, picks up maybe 5 yards to about the 39. Hallman and Osborne were going deep. He eluded the rush, ran forward, timeout BHS. 29 seconds left in the first half, 7-0 in favor of BHS. And you are watching high school football exclusively on CNN SI, Time Warner Cable, Channel 52.
Holiday Ford Lincoln Mercury is clearing out the 98s. Now we have $1,000 cash back, plus 0.9% financing on Escorts, Contours, Mystiques, Tracers, and Rangers. Now that's real savings. How about a red carpet lease on a new 98 Explorer? Come in and buy one, and the first payment up to $500 is on us. Don't make a wrong turn. Make the turn for Lerdo Highway in Shafter. We're easy to get to from both the 5 and 99 freeways. Say habla español.
Come to Holiday.
3 seconds left to play in the first half. BHS 7, Clovis nothing. And BHS, actually Clovis called the timeout. It's Griller's ball about 3rd and 8. So they will have one final play here in the second quarter of a game that has been dominated by the defenses. At least they are ahead of the offenses. McGill steps on his knee, and BHS will go into the locker room with a 7-0 lead over Clovis in a rematch of the teams that met last year in the Yosemite Division Central Section Finals, won by Clovis. What a difference last year's game in the Pigskin Classic and also in the finals was much more offensive oriented.
Well, Mark, last year Clovis had an experienced quarterback, Kyle Biggs, and Cody Nolan, the excellent receiver, who were very experienced in big game players. Bakersfield had McCoy and Tim Osborne, two players that were a little more experienced. And they also played late in the season where both teams had a whole season under their belt. So I think the offenses were rolling a little bit better at that time. But again, Bakersfield with a lot of inexperience in the offense. I mean, you've got a new running back this year. You also have a quarterback who didn't play quarterback actually since junior high, and he's a senior in high school now. So that makes it very, very difficult to come in here and really against a team like Clovis and be that effective. So it's going to be very difficult. We'll see what happens in the second half for Bakersfield and Clovis.
We'll be back with a halftime show. The score after 2 quarters, BHS 7, Clovis nothing. You're watching the high school football game of the week exclusively on CNN SI, Time Warner Cable, Channel 52.
Always get the names and addresses of witnesses. Don't rely on busy police to do this for you. If injured, be sure to have a medical examination. Talk to an experienced lawyer before you talk to the insurance adjusters. If you'd like to know more, call or come by Shane Younger today and pick up your copy of the accident guide.
Shane Younger. When you need us, we'll be there. We have been for over 60 years.
Harold, this tape from Greece doesn't play.
Around the world, there are many different formats for VHS tapes. So if you have problems with a tape from a foreign country, call Time Warner Productions. For $29.95, Time Warner Productions can convert the tape to a format that plays in your home VCR or change your tape to any format from around the world. From quality copies of home videos, large quantity duplications.
Harold, the tape's broken.
Or tape repair. Time Warner Productions is your best choice for video services.
Holiday Ford Lincoln Mercury is clearing out the 98s. Now we have $1,000 cash back, plus 0.9% financing on Escorts, Contours, Mystiques, Tracers, and Rangers. Now that's real savings. How about a red carpet lease on a new 98 Explorer? Come in and buy one, and the first payment up to $500 is on us. Don't make a wrong turn. Make the turn for Lerdo Highway in Shafter. We're easy to get to from both the 5 and 99 freeways. Say habla español.
Come to Holiday.
now to the cheerleaders on the field and claim your money. Thank you. Coming on the field now, the Bakersfield High School Drummer Band in their twerking uniform.
What I would like to do at the beginning of the field show season is just continue to review the music that we've been performing for the show this year. This year's music is entitled Gloria. It's the music of John Rudder. Lots of different things will be happening. We've already got the skin and play for you. Marching units are led by drum majors Tamara Webb and Celine Clearwater. Otherwise, captain is Connor Schultz. Second captain is Lee.
Attention please, the concession stand. The concession stands are open on the north side of the field. They're open on the top side there. The top side, the concession stands are open. Thank you.
We're going to play the first and part of the second two of our field show this year. First and second movements of John Rudder's Gloria.
Holiday Ford Lincoln Mercury is clearing out the 98s. Now we have $1,000 cash back, plus 0.9% financing on Escorts, Contours, Mystiques, Tracers, and Rangers. Now that's real savings. How about a red carpet lease on a new 98 Explorer? Come in and buy one, and the first payment up to $500 is on us. Don't make a wrong turn. Make the turn for Lerdo Highway in Shafter. We're easy to get to from both the 5 and 99 freeways. Say habla español.
Come to Holiday.
Over the last 60 years, Chan Younger has helped thousands of accident victims. Oil field work is some of the most dangerous work around. Many people are seriously injured or killed as a result of faulty equipment and poor safety training. We didn't want this to continue, so we fought until changes in oil field safety were made. Accidents still happen, and when they do, we'll be there for you.
Has this ever happened to one of your favorite tapes? How about this? Parts of this tape are damaged forever. Before this happens to your favorite video or home movie, call Time Warner Productions. Time Warner Productions specializes in quality duplications, foreign conversions, and repairs. So before your favorite video cassette becomes your pet's next meal, preserve it by calling Time Warner Productions and get it duplicated. Call 322-1941.
Osborne kicks off for BHS to Clovis as they take it out across the 30 to the 34th. We begin the second half of action. It's BHS 7 and Clovis nothing in a game dominated by the defenses. Pat Osborne returning interception, 70 yards for BHS for the lone score in the game tonight as we have a Clovis player down on the field at the kickoff.
Well, Mark, here in the second half, and we always say this, it's important to get off to a good start. I thought in the first half, Bakersfield had a good defensive stand and was able to make the big play with Osborne and get the score and get out in front. They jumped out in front of Clovis 7-0, and their defense did a good job, and that score is held up. I think for Clovis, they want to come out here in the second half and get a good jump start. They've got to get some first downs, get some confidence. Once they score, it can change the complexion of this football game.
And the Clovis player is still down at the kickoff as we begin the third quarter play from Memorial Stadium.
Well, Mark, I hope they keep the Pigskin Classic. You know, they've talked about it last year about whether they wanted to continue it or not, and I like the format. I really do. I think this year with Memorial Stadium going through a refurbishing project, it's not really completely done yet, but it will be. But 2 years when they come back here, hopefully, then it will. But I really like the format, the Clovis schools and the Bakersfield schools. And, you know, Foothill, you know, today they came out and they played pretty well. And then, you know, Bakersfield, a perennial power, along with Clovis. And, of course, Clovis West and Centennial are very good football teams. So I like the concept. I really do. And I really hope the schools renew the contract. And, you know, next year it'd be held at Bulldog Stadium. It's for next year. And then after that, they have to talk about it again. It's renewed for every 2 years. And I like the concept. What do you think about it?
I like the concept, too. It gives all the schools a chance to see where they're at this stage of the season early on, because they probably will meet sometime down the road.
Do you know every time they've had the Pigskin Classic, one of the teams in the Pigskin Classic has almost always been in the Valley Championship Finals?
Oh, definitely.
I mean, except for Redwood winning the Valley Championship, one of the teams that plays here today has been in the Valley Finals the last 5 years. One of the teams has been in the finals. They haven't always won every year, but one of the representatives of these 6 schools have either won the Valley Championship or been in the section finals. So it goes to show you just how competitive this thing is.
Adam Hernandez, the injured player, up on his feet for Clovis. That's right, last year BHS and Clovis played here in the Pigskin Classic at Bulldog Stadium. They met in the finals, won by Clovis. Prior to that, BHS, of course, played in this Pigskin Classic and they lost to Redwood. But as you said, there are 6 teams in this Classic, and usually one, if not 3 or 4, will be in the semifinals of the Valley. McGill and company bring down the ball carrier. I think the whistle was blown a long time ago. McGill drove him back to the 20-yard line. Number 12, Willis Walker, the running back. Second down situation for Clovis. Called 2nd and 7. And Clovis from their own 37-yard line. Fitzpatrick at quarterback for the Cougars. Wide left, Levance Ray. Out up the middle. Good tackle. Walker, the ball carrier. Aaron Graham, 33. Stop him dead in his tracks. One-on-one tackle as they ran off the right side.
Well, Mark, again, you know, I can't say enough about the Bakersfield High defense, especially in that interior line with Stansberry and Aaron Graham in the inside, and they've done a very fine job. And then McDermott and Calvin Hosey on the outside have also done a very good job of containing and pursuing well.
McDermott 88, Hosey 45. Third down, 3rd and 5 for Clovis. Patrick to throw. Pass complete over the middle. First down to the 45. Nice hit by number 13 for BHS, James McGill. But the reception was made. It was a first down for Clovis. Just about at midfield.
Again, Mark, Clovis looking down the middle. Patrick had time to throw, took about a 4-step drop, and the receiver got behind the linebackers in front of the free safety, made a nice grab for the first down.
Matt Roberts at tight end for Clovis. Patrick rolling out to his left. Flips it downfield. Double coverage. Incomplete to McCormick. Johnson and Osborne on the coverage. Nice try, though, for the Clovis Cougars. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Well, Mark, they like to go to McCormick. He seems to be their bread and butter man, especially going deep. Bakersfield has been using Johnson on him a lot, Nick Johnson on him a lot, single coverage, and then when the quarterback takes a little bit more time to throw, Pat Osborne's free safety has been getting over to help out on the double team. In that situation, Osborne was able to help out, and I think if you're Bakersfield, you're really looking for Pat Osborne to make a play here, Mark, defensively again. Maybe an interception or something, but I think Bakersfield needs a big play out of Osborne if they're going to win this football game. Even though they're ahead 7-0, their offense has really struggled. They've got to find a way, like you said in the first half. Osborne's got to find a way to get that football, get his hands on it.
I think he's only touched it one time offensively, maybe twice at the most. Had a very short reception. They've had a lot more plays than that. Patrick will throw in the middle, complete. Good short pass. Not a long gain. I mean, shy of the first down by 5 yards. 13 reception, John Hissong. He's a 180-pounder. Straight over the middle, underneath the coverage of BHS.
I like that play, Mark. Second time they've used that in this series, and this time they picked up some more yards. Bakersfield, for some reason, is not picking that up. Linebackers are not jamming him at the line of scrimmage, and he's getting in between the area of the defensive backs and the linebackers.
Patrick, the handoff. Hikes. He'll be shy of the first down, gets up to about the 42-yard line of BHS territory. A nice stop by the drillers. 3rd and short for Clovis. BHS use that play more effectively more often. They used it once today, and it was a completion to the tight end, the pass over the middle. Sometimes that is left open by the defense as they cover the fast receivers to the outside. 3rd and 2 for the Cougars. The new running back, 44, hitting the backfield. Close to the first down mark. It depends on the forward progress. Number 44 with about his 2nd carry tonight. That is Ryan Jane. He's a senior, 165. Mark, and he has a first down. Great 2nd effort.
Mark, it appears that Bakersfield on defense has been missing some tackles. They're not wrapping up sometimes. I don't know if they're not hitting as hard as they were earlier. They're a little tired, but it looks like on some series, some plays, that the running backs are not very big or breaking tackles. I don't know if they're just not wrapping up or they're not hitting as hard as they were earlier.
Most of the Clovis running backs are 165, 170. But I can imagine BHS will be that tired. It's only 8:30 to play in the 3rd quarter. They have an entire half to rest. Patrick, the throw over the middle. It's high, incomplete. Tipped by Graham, who was the short man. And into no man's land. Number 33 making another big play for BHS. 2nd and 10.
Well, you know, it's really difficult for Patrick, Mark, to throw the ball into the middle because being a short quarterback at 5'8", trying to throw the ball on a line drive with a bigger defensive lineman, it's really hard to throw the ball. That's why he normally has to go down deep or to the sideline.
There's a draw play. 5, first down for Clovis inside of 30 to the 27. The draw play worked effectively. Willis Walker, we talked about, has a lot of quickness. So they take away from the BHS rush. They let BHS rush the quarterback, and they burn him with a draw. About a 12-yard pickup for Clovis, first down at the BHS 29.
Again, Mark, we talked about it earlier. Clovis been able to move the ball, I thought, effectively in the first half, especially in the 2nd quarter. That draw play has been very effective tonight against Bakersfield's defense.
2nd man through. Walker drives forward for about 2 yards. Graham, number 75 over there. Levi Howley for BHS. But you look at Walker when he runs, he drives forward. They stop him at about the line of scrimmage. He gains about 3 yards. That's good drive by your legs, and that's a very determined running back. You can run hard at 160 if you're determined to do so. 2nd and 7 for the Cougars at the 25. Patrick to throw. Heavy rush from McDermott. He sacks him. McDermott coming from the right side was able to beat number 62 for Clovis, Chris Tillery. And he sacked Patrick for a loss of about 2 or 3 yards. So it wasn't a major loss for Clovis.
Well, Mark, again, we've talked about earlier, Bakersfield's defense is going to have to come up with the big plays to win this football game because their offense has really been struggling. So, again, the defense here is a situation where they want to come up with a big play. They're looking for turnovers, and I think Coach Harnett has talked about that. Hey, our defense is our lifeblood. We've got to come up with turnovers with our defense. And that's what they've been able to do.
And BHS calls a timeout. 3rd and 12 for Clovis. And a penalty against BHS.
Substitution infraction penalty.
Substitution infraction against BHS. You don't hear about that very often.
26-yard line.
So it goes from 3rd and 12 to 3rd and 7.
Down for Clovis.
Close at the BHS 26. Have a player in motion. Long count. McDermott in there very quickly. Patrick sets up, and he's going to go down for 28.
Patrick is stopped.
Once again, great pressure by McDermott coming from the right side to kind of mess everything up in the Clovis backfield. Tobin makes the tackle coming inside. 6:25 to play in the third quarter. 7-0 BHS and a 4th down situation for Clovis. 4th and 10.
Well, I don't think a 4th and 10 is a real big problem for them. You know, we know they're going to throw the football if they can. They need about 10 yards. They're on the inside the 40-yard line of Bakersfield High. Bakersfield's going to have to make a big stop here, Mark. I really think it's very imperative that Bakersfield can stop him or get the ball back and give their offense some decent field position.
Single running back behind Patrick. He's going to throw it again. Steps up, throws it deep, the other side. Incomplete. Just off the hands of number 20 for Clovis. And that is Levance Ray. Almost had a shot at it at the goal line, but incomplete. So BHS will take over. So Clovis has moved the ball tonight, but no points on the scoreboard.
Well, again, Mark, he had time to throw. Patrick made a nice pass here, just a little bit overthrown. But again, I think Clovis has looked very good here. Really, since midway in the second quarter, they've been able to move the football very well. And again, Bakersfield very fortunate there. They were beat. The free cornerback was beat on the play, but ball a little overthrown.
Kindred lines up slot left for BHS. Diaz, the running back behind McGill. Pitch back to Tim Diaz, left side, has some running room. Flags are down. As he has stopped right at the 29-yard line. Usually in that situation, it's a hold against the offense or an infraction against the offense. It is a hold against BHS. Pitch out left to Diaz, try to cut back. Despite the hold, he didn't even get up to the line of scrimmage, so the hold didn't help.
No, it did.
So on BHS's first play here in the series, they're guilty of a hold. And they started the drive at their own 29-yard line. Clovis declines it. It'll be 2nd and 10 for BHS.
Well, Mark, it's only a 10-yard penalty, and I think, Clovis, they want the ball back. It's 2nd down. They figure that they're confident that they can stop Bakersfield, so why give them an extra down? That's a very unusual, deep inside your own territory that the team would not take a penalty.
Osborne split wide left. Hallman in the slot. Kindred in motion. McGill on the option. Keeps it himself. Goes forward for about 2 or 3 yards to the 32, 33-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 7 for BHS. 3rd and a long 7. 5:15 to play in the third.
Well, Mark, right now, looking at the BHS offense, there's not one player that's going both ways, except for Pat Osborne. And most of the offensive linemen right now for Bakersfield are not playing defense. So Bakersfield's defense looked a little tired. They shouldn't be too tired, but they've been on the field a long time because the offense hasn't generated any first downs. That's one of the reasons why they're wearing down.
Wasim McDermott at tight end on the right side. He plays defense. Had a couple of big plays moments ago. Play action. McGill to throw. Fires it. Incomplete. Trying to hit McDermott. It was thrown about 2 yards to the left of McDermott. So basically it wasn't very close. 4th down for BHS. Aimed that ball in the wrong direction. And they come up empty once again. As Osborne stands back there to punt for the Drillers inside his 20-yard line. So BHS keeping Clovis in the game, much like LA Valley did with BC the other night. LA Valley had a 10-0 lead after the half, 10-0 after 3. BC scored twice in the last 5 minutes to win. In fact, their final touchdown came with 3 seconds left. Sweep left by Bennett. Dave Bennett out of BHS. 4:44 to play in the third. Osborne's punt. Very short. Good hit by Clovis player on BHS. The ball returned to the other side to the 45. What a hit leveled by number 23 for Clovis. Ryan Gutierrez on McGill at BHS. He just plastered him, knocked him on his you-know-where.
I don't think McGill even saw him there, Mark.
Well, like I say, when you're on the football field, you got to be ready for everything.
Right.
Well, he was right in front of him.
I don't think he even saw him. He was looking, he had his eyes fixed right on the ball carrier.
Well, the thing was, it was a short punt and it bounced. And he kind of laxed a little bit. And wasn't expecting the guy to hit him because he probably didn't think that Clovis would return the punt, yet they did because the ball bounced another 10 yards away. And 23 really laid one on him. Well, that's somewhat of a wake-up call. Out up the middle, a gain of about 1 yard by Brian Hines.
Brian Hines takes the handoff.
Again, Mark, Clovis trying to establish their offensive series with a run to kind of hold off that Bakersfield High defensive pass rush. And that's what they're trying to do here, but you know their bread and butter is to throw the football, and they're going to try to throw as much as they can. You know, one of the things at Mark, it's a little confusing at Clovis. They bring so many substitutions in on every play that I think early in the season the timing is very difficult for the quarterback because you've got a bevy of new receivers on every play.
McCormick wide left for Clovis. Patrick, here's a play action. They're running back out of the backfield. Hit and dropped at a 42. Great defense by BHS. McDermott over there. Also Calvin Holsey, number 45. And Brian Dunlap, number 42. So the Drillers were not fooled on that. Maybe attempted screen to number 28, Aaron Torienti. 3rd and long for Clovis, 3rd and about 13.
Well, Mark, I think it's probably time to look for McCormick if you're Patrick, the quarterback. He's been the big play man for him a lot tonight, and he's a player that he might be looking for again here.
A man in motion, Clovis. Patrick calling signals from a 35 over the middle. Pass incomplete, but a possible penalty against BHS. A balloon is in front of me and it blocked me off. Might have been defensive holding against BHS. But I'm just anticipating the call because I only saw about half of it. The pass intended for number 13 of Clovis. That's Hissong. And a penalty marked off against BHS. Interference against BHS. They kind of were wrapped around the receiver for Clovis. As the sun is beginning to set underneath the clouds here at the stadium. Of course, we haven't seen it most of the day. It's been a very cloudy day and somewhat breezy. The light's been on for some time now. 2:59 to play in the 3rd. 7-0 BHS. 1st and 10 for the Cougars at the BHS 42. Patrick, straight drop back. Plenty of time. Looking for McCormick. He has it! Out of bounds on the 8-yard line. He beat double coverage. Johnson and Osborne coming over there, but perfectly thrown ball by Patrick.
Well, Mark, that's what we talked about earlier, though. Bakersfield defense being tired. They're on the field almost the whole game. Again, Osborne just couldn't get over. He's just too tired. I mean, on the double team, early in the game, he was getting over on that. But now, he's just so tired. He plays every single offensive series and defensive series. He just didn't get over. And that's what I knew what happened in this game. The defense is on the field too long. You're just not going to be able to stay with those receivers this whole football game. That's exactly what happened. Nobody was fooled on the play. Everybody saw it coming. But when you have a tired defense, their legs are tired. They're just not able to get over and make the play, and that's what happened there.
1st and goal from the 7 for Clovis. 2:51 to play in the 3rd. This is the deepest they have been in this game tonight. Patrick to throw now, rolling to his right. To the 10, throws it into the end zone, misses his man.
Incomplete. Intended.
He missed that one. Hissong was open 7 yards deep in the end zone, and Patrick overthrew him. 2nd and goal for Clovis. So I got a little excited on that.
Yeah, that was an easy touchdown there, but he could have almost ran that ball in too. Bakersfield was not in the right defense at all on that play. I mean, there was nobody over there, and nobody putting any pressure on the quarterback. I don't know what they were doing on what kind of defensive alignment they were in.
High formation for the Cougars. Had Clovis, a mental mistake at the tight end. He moved too early. So they have the pass that does not go for the touchdown from Patrick to the intended receiver Hissong to simply overthrow him. Then the tight end on the right side moves too early. So there's a mental mistake against the Cougars as they get down there. Have a 2nd and goal situation now, 2nd and goal from the 12. So BHS helped out with that 5-yard penalty against the Cougars. 7-0 BHS. Clovis is knocking on the door.
They sure are, and they've been knocking on the door quite a bit in this football game. Not this deep in the red zone, but they've been knocking on the door pretty much since the 2nd quarter.
Have a man in motion. Patrick with the count. Drops back from the 22 over the middle. Complete to about the 1-yard line. Levance Ray. Nice catch. Put it at the 2 or 1. 3rd and goal for Clovis.
Ball's on the 1-yard line.
Just outside the 1.
Third down, third goal.
About the 1.5 yard line. 3rd and goal for Clovis.
Quarterback looks real good throwing the football when he has time to throw. There was some pressure, but he did have enough time. Patrick really zipped that ball in there right up the middle.
3rd and goal for the Cougars. 2:08 to play in a third. Head out to the first man. Doesn't really get much. It depends where they spot it. Hines, the ball carrier. Might have gained a half yard, but it's 4th and goal for Clovis. And we'll see where they mark it. Actually gained about a half yard. The ball is inside the 1 yard line.
Inside the 1 yard line.
It's 4th and goal from about the half yard line. So they actually gained about 3/4 of a yard. But if they go for it, they have to score down here.
Well, they're inside the 1. I would think the way they were moving the football, Mark, I would just run the football here. I think they can get in there with that. I mean, I think a pass is an option, but the problem with the pass is you're rolling out. Bakersfield could get some good pressure on the quarterback. It's easier for the secondary to cover in the end zone because there's a shorter area to cover. So I think their best bet, Mark, would be to take the ball right off the tackle and just try to punch it in. And we're really got less than a yard. I mean, I think they've been running the football pretty effectively tonight.
You know what's amazing about both these teams being two of the top teams in the central section with a lot of huge players in their roster. Neither team has a big, strong running back. Both teams use 155 and 160 pounders. Guys that with not a lot of size that it's very difficult for them to shed tacklers in a situation like this where it's a 3rd and 1 to go for a first down or 4th and 1 or in this situation. They have to line the blocking quite a bit. 4th and goal for Clovis. Patrick, touchdown. He could have ran it in. This on. They faked out BHS. Fake handoff to the right side. He rolled out left. He could have scored on a run. His home was wide open.
Well, you know, Mark, that's always one of the better plays that a team will run by the goal line. Is that, you fake it up the middle. The defense is in the box. Everybody's up at the line of scrimmage. Then you fake it like a belly series. You roll out to his right, and then he throw the ball in the end zone, the receiver wide open. But, you know, when you've got a quarterback who can throw the football and handle the ball well, he can execute that. It's more difficult for Bakersfield to execute that with their quarterback because he's less experienced.
Bad snap, Dennis. The kicker's going to try to run it in. He's knocked down. So a big mix-up for Clovis as the center hiked the ball over the snapper's head. And so they're down 7-6. Boy, you can't have plays like that when they've taken them so long to score and they mess up on the PAT.
Yeah, but Mark, I don't think that's such a big deal at this time of the game. Clovis has proven they can move the football, and they have a good field goal kicker. So I don't think the 1 point's going to stand up in this game. I think it's going to be more scoring. And even though it's not 7-all, I think Clovis can very easily get down there and score again. Bakersfield has just not shown any inclination to be able to move the ball at all on offense. So to me, that's not a big deal at this point.
Well, I just hope we don't have a tie like we had in the Foothill Buchanan game.
Well, you can't now.
I know, but I think you should have a tie-breaking system where you have an actual winner rather than a tie.
In this game, I think the way Clovis has been moving the football, they've got double easily the amount of yards Bakersfield has on offense. I think Clovis will get down there again and score. So I think at this point, Bakersfield just got a break there. But unless they do something offensively, they're not going to win this football game.
That was an amazing play on the fake. BHS was expecting the dive, and the quarterback took one step to his right. He could have ran that ball in and just kind of flipped it about 7 yards to his song, the guy that he missed on the other side, and he could have danced.
Yeah, but you want to throw that football when a receiver's wide open, though, if you're a quarterback. You know, you don't want a chance running the ball in. It could be a fumble. You could drop the ball. The guy's wide open, throw the football. That's what you're there for, to throw the ball.
And a kickoff underway, goes through the end zone. BHS would take it out at their own 20-yard line, 1st and 10. 7-6 ball game.
There's one thing to look at this game, though, too, Mark. We talked about the 1 point Bakersfield has as a lead here. One thing to remember is, in the fourth quarter, Clovis will be going against the wind. So if they have to kick a field goal, they're going to be kicking the ball into the wind. That's something to think about. With only 1:38 left in the third quarter, Bakersfield will have the wind in the fourth quarter. So for Clovis, if they do get down there and they want to kick a field goal, they're going to be going against the wind. That could be a factor.
BHS with the ball, McGill and company. Now he's on the option left. Runs up the middle, breaks a tackle, then is swarmed over by the Cougars. After a gain of 2 or 3 yards going left.
Mark, they've had approximately 1 first down with their offense the whole football game, and we're almost into the fourth quarter. I mean, when you look at that situation, boy, Bakersfield's so fortunate to be out in front 7-6 with the offense just not being able to do anything at all.
2nd and 8 for the Drillers.
I mean, I never thought in my wildest dreams that they'd be ahead 7-6 with the offense only having one first down the whole football game. Would you?
No, I'm totally baffled by what I'm seeing. But I was baffled in the LA Valley BC game, so I guess it's nothing new for me this weekend. Kindred, did he move too early? Yeah, as against BHS, Kindred moved forward. He was supposed to go to the side, hand out to Diaz. He didn't get anywhere, and that's going to be against the Drillers.
Mark, what is the running around in the backfield? I mean, if you're going to go in motion, you need to go laterally. You're almost better off for the fullback there just to go on the snap of the football and make a block. But it seems like Kindred's in motion a lot, and you can't go forward before the ball snaps. I'm not quite sure what is the idea of going in motion unless he's trying to get a better angle on the block.
Yeah, he's trying to get a better angle on the block and get an earlier block, but it didn't help him out anyway. Of course, I think he should run the football once in a while at Kindred, and he hasn't at all tonight. Also, I think that Pat Osborne, number 4, should actually lay his hands on the ball once in a while. He's only seen it offensively, I think, once or twice tonight. And he's out there running patterns, but the ball's never going his direction. I mean, he got one of the greatest athletes in the central section, and he does everything for the team. Kicks off, does PATs, punts, plays defense, but offensively, he never sees the ball. He's 6'4", 200 pounds. You have to get him the football, whether it's a looking pattern or whatever. And the one time tonight, he caught about a 5-yard reception, and I don't recall him catching another pass. I know he's gone out for a lot of passes, 30 and 40 yards downfield, but the passes haven't been anywhere close to him. Maybe use him on a reverse or something. 3rd down. Quarterback rolling to his right. Has a first down and more. 30, 35. And to the 40-yard line. So the best run of the night for McGill as he's running right.
Well, Mark, that's the first down for Bakersfield in the second half, and the first down since the first quarter. So, again, McGill, that was a run all the way. It was designed to let the defense think it was going to be a pass. But he had no designs to throw that football, was to run it. And running's a safe play for McGill. As an inexperienced quarterback, he's probably better off just to run the football. He's a much better runner at this stage of the season than he is a passer.
1st and 10 for BHS at their own 40-yard line. There's a ball given to Kindred. He's hit and dropped back as he finally gets the ball to fullback, but didn't have much there. They'll put it back maybe a yard or so, but it depends on the forward progress. It'll be 2nd and 10 for BHS. So he's running to the left. 3rd quarter comes to a conclusion. After 3, it is BHS 7, Clovis 6. You're watching the high school football game of the week exclusively on CNN SI, Time Warner Cable, Channel 52.
Always get the names and addresses of witnesses. Don't rely on busy police to do this for you. If injured, be sure to have a medical examination. Talk to an experienced lawyer before you talk to the insurance adjusters. If you'd like to know more, call or come by Chain Younger today and pick up your copy of the accident guide.
Chain Younger. When you need us, we'll be there. We have been for over 60 years.
Third and short for BHS, 11:04 to play in a ball game. Quarterback McGill has had a couple of first downs on this drive, which began late in the 3rd. Takes a quarterback keeper, and he should be close to the first down marker, if not get it. It depends on where they spot the ball. He tried to throw an out and up pattern to Pat Osborne. He overthrew it. But they haven't looked at Osborne too much offensively tonight.
Excuse me, but like you say, in this drive here, it's really been McGill. We talked about his inexperience, but what he's done here in the 4th quarter, Mark, what Stan Green, the offensive coordinator, has been doing is letting McGill do what he does best, which is run the football. You know, for 3 quarters, he wasn't doing anything but trying to pass. Now you're getting him back to where he feels more comfortable because he was a tight end last year. He's better running the football, and they're trying to get plays designed to use his running ability, Mark, and he's been the most effective runner for him.
Yeah, been utilizing option more in the second half than in the first half. And with his size and everything, that would be to his advantage. 1st and 10 for the Drillers. McGill pitch back to Diaz, around the outside, stays on his feet. He may go the distance. That's a touchdown, BHS, as they try to push him out of bounds. Finally, they got Diaz open to the outside, as the option has been working for McGill. McGill kept it for a long time, pitched it out to Diaz, went down the sidelines, got hit once, but scurried in.
Mark, where has that option been the whole game? Basically, what's really set that up, Mark, was McGill was able to run the football more effectively, and what happened was they were keying in on McGill, and when 2 players came in on him to make the tackle, he was able to pitch the ball outside to Diaz, and he used his speed to run down the right sideline. So again, with the effective running by McGill, it brought in the defense, closed in on him. He was able to pitch the ball out to Diaz to make the nice run down the right sideline.
35 yards, touchdown, BHS. Osborne's kick is up and it's good. So that's the first touchdown scored by the BHS offense tonight. And at a very opportune time, they did it 14-6 over Clovis.
Well, Mark, that's a big extra point because now when Clovis scores, go for 2, we're in a tie. Bakersfield can't get beat. Clovis has to score a touchdown and make a 2-point conversion. So that's why that extra point there is big. And that's why, you talked earlier about that. You were right, missing the extra point. Because now when they score and go for 2, all they can do is tie the game. They can't lose it. But Bakersfield, Mark, on that series had 3 first downs and was able to move the football. Even with a holding penalty, they were still able to come back. But again, I have to give credit to McGill, the quarterback. And I think, Mark, what Bakersfield needs to do, they've got to simplify this offense for McGill. Wouldn't you agree? Just let him run the football a little bit, run the option, and then look for Osborne on occasion. That's a simplified offense. He's a young quarterback from a standpoint of not a lot of experience. Keep it simple. Let him use his athletic ability, and that's all you have to do with their defense. They don't have to score a lot of points.
Well, at 6'3", 208, you have to take advantage of his athletic ability. He has the size. He has the ability to run over people. He has the speed to run around people. Let him just do his thing, and generally, he'll probably wear down the defense before the night is over with, which I think is the case right now. As Osborne kicks it off for BHS. McGill on the line made that happen, though. And then Diaz was able to show some of his speed. And we would both agree Diaz is now most effective running up the middle. You got to set it up with the option play of the quarterback. When Diaz got the ball, he took off and ran very well down the sidelines. He showed some of his speed. He doesn't utilize that speed on those inside handoffs because he doesn't run as hard.
Right, and one thing to remember, Mark, if you're Bakersfield High, what you do is you use McGill to run that option. McGill and Diaz get to the outside. They're a little more effective. The option is effective. Also, too, Mark, you've got a strong kicking game in Osborne, and you let your defense. You play field position football if you're Bakersfield and let your defense win the games for you.
1st and 10 for the Cougars. McCormick in motion. Patrick will throw from his 20. Plenty of time. Pitches it here. Inside handoff. The guy gets loose. Running right to left to the 30 and then just really dropped. McGill with a nice tackle on the far side. Number 15 for Clovis on the inside reception. Hines, he ran about 45 yards, only picked up about 4. He wasn't running north to south, but east to west.
Well, they had Bryce McGill on there, Mark, and Bryce McGill was able to run him down and make the good play. He's running laterally, but again, McGill, a little too much speed for him, was able to run him down.
Okay, 2nd and 6 for Clovis, but 9:45 to play in a ball game. 14-6 BHS as they have a man in motion. Patrick to throw. Left side, complete. Nice hit on the far side by BHS. Looked like Osborne was over there. Could be close to the first down marker. Maybe a little bit shy. Number 28 with the reception, Toriente. And they're calling it 1st and 10 for Clovis.
Well, Mark, James McDermott, defensive end for BHS, has done a good job, but he comes in really hard. He appears to overrun the quarterback a lot, and I'm not sure what he's doing. He seems to take a roundabout way to get in. He takes a wide route in, a wide angle, and he seems to be overrunning the quarterback a lot, and I think that's really hurting him a little bit. Instead of taking such a wide angle, you got to make more of a direct line to the quarterback.
He's there at the right defensive end for BHS. Hosey on the left side, number 45. Patrick to throw. Now gets away from the rush, throws on the run. Looks like a nice completion to the 45-yard line. on the other side, maybe holding against Clovis. A flag down on the Clovis Cougars offensive backfield.
It's going to be a holding, Mark. Anytime it's thrown by the referee behind the offensive backfield, it's usually a holding call.
Takes away a nice reception by Lennon McCormick. He runs those out patterns very well, gets the feet in.
You know, Mark, that is so difficult to be able to do as a receiver in a game, is run those wide out patterns, sideline patterns, get those feet in, have the quarterback be able to throw that ball on the run and hit you. I mean, that's a tough play to handle.
He's done it 3 or 4 times when it's counted tonight, McCormick, and that will cost Clovis 15 yards.
It's amazing, Mark, that Clovis is even trailing in this football game. Their offense is really more advanced than Bakersfield. They really have a quarterback who's farther along at this time of year, and I think their running game is better. Yet Bakersfield's ahead 14-6, and you got to give credit to the Bakersfield defense and also Pat Osborne for making that big play in the first quarter.
Well, I will. Patrick will get hit from behind, and he's thrown down by McDermott. McDermott coming from the backside. Patrick heard his footsteps, then he felt his footsteps.
Well, Mark, one of the problems that Clovis is having right now is, and I think you'd agree with me, you've got 8:42 and the clock running. Bakersfield knows they're going to try to throw the football. So now they're teeing off a little bit. I think what might be effective for Clovis, Mark, would be a few draw plays. There's still enough time to call a draw.
Second down, 2nd and 35.
2nd and 35. It's a good time for a draw play. They have a long ways to go to the back of their own 10-yard line. McCormick wide right. There's a handoff. Toriente gets up to about the 15. Graham there on the tackle. Maybe an early assist from Calvin Hosey, 45. But it's 3rd and long for Clovis. 3rd and about 30 for the Cougars. 8:03 to play in a ball game. It's BHS 14 and Clovis 6. So Clovis back deep in their own territory. The 15-yard penalty did not help them. As Patrick looking over the defense. Another handoff. And Graham is there once again. They ran the ball 2 times in a row. Heinz the ball carrier there. Graham with the 2nd consecutive tackle with an assist from number 76, Eric Tobin. Punting time for Clovis.
Well, Mark, we talked earlier about McCormick and what a fine receiver is. He's only a junior. 5'10", about 175, so he'll be back next year along with Patrick, the quarterback. Again, Mark, what really hurt Clovis on that drive was that holding call. They had some momentum, and then Bakersfield did a good job rushing the pass.
And BHS comes in and blocks the punt, and they'll recover it at the 3-yard line. The Clovis kicker took a lot of time to get the punt off. I knew that BHS would block it. 2 guys were in his face. They blocked it. Now the Drillers in contention for another score. Special teams play by BHS.
Well, Mark, again, the special teams of Bakersfield high here, coming up with a big play. But, Mark, Bakersfield does have good special teams. Their kicking game's good with Osborne. Their punt return team's been effective tonight. Their kickoff return team's been good. And now on the defense, they did a great job blocking the punt that time, putting pressure on the quarterback. Or the punter, excuse me.
2 guys were right on him. I knew that he would not get it away. 1st and goal from the 4. Diaz sneaks his way. Close to the goal line. Touchdown! Diaz with a 2nd touchdown of the night for BHS. 2nd consecutive one. Last one on the pitch from McGill. This time going off to the right side, lean forward.
Well, Mark, here in the 4th quarter, it looked like at the start of the 4th quarter things were going Clovis's way. But again, Mark, McGill really came alive, I thought, at quarterback. They changed the system a little bit. They got him to run the football. The option became effective. And then, of course, Clovis making a mistake, the holding call in the last offensive series. And then in this situation, the punt block by Bakersfield. The special teams coming up big for Bakersfield High. And another quick score. So again, Bakersfield really kind of broke the game open with some big plays here in the 4th quarter.
And very much like Bakersfield College and a victory over LA Valley, the defense making things happen for BHS and the special teams.
Yeah, Clovis looked to be going pretty good there, Mark, after they scored that touchdown. But again, Bakersfield, I really thought the key to the game was Stan Green changed the offensive setup a little bit, got McGill to run the football a little bit more. He really didn't start running until the 4th quarter. And then when they started running the football a little bit, it opened things up for Diaz on the option. They got a quick score. And then Clovis got the ball back, made a key mistake on a holding call, set him back. Then Bakersfield blocks the punt. They're in business again with another quick score.
The PAT is good. Beautiful by Pat Osborne.
The score, Cougars
21-6 in favor of BHS with 7:04 to play in a ball game.
You know what's amazing about this game, Mark, is they did all of this without Pat Osborne. You talked earlier, they got to get the ball to him. He hasn't really touched the ball at all offensively, but McGill has been able to run the football effectively, and the option really worked. And then of course, we talked earlier, the big play, on the punt right there, the block. But, right now it's a situation, once Bakersfield gets out in front, Mark, that defense can really tee off and rush the quarterback. And I thought McDermott's been very effective here in the fourth quarter,
yeah.
really putting pressure.
Yeah.
6'2", 228-pound defensive end senior, really the leader of that defense, him and probably Aaron Graham.
Yeah, Graham was very solid in the second half. Of course, Osborne returned the interception in the first quarter, about 70 yards for the only score early on. He has connected on 3 consecutive PATs. He's punted well for BHS, played some defense, so he does a lot, even though he hasn't received the ball much offensively. But BHS with McGill run the option very effectively in their previous drive, going to pitch out to Diaz for the score, picked up their defense, then they come back, stop Clovis, then a special teams blocks the punt. This game has really turned around.
Well, Mark, I think if you're Clovis, it's a good game to see where your offense is at, but they're not going to face a lot of teams in their league with the athletes that Bakersfield has on defense. Offensively, they might face better teams than Clovis, but defensively, Bakersfield has a lot of guys around 6'1", 6'3", Mark, defensively, who are very tall and very agile. And Clovis won't face a lot of teams with defensive players quite like that. So I think Clovis is going to come along and be a good football team this year. And they're going to be in the playoffs. Don't kid yourself.
Osborne with a kickoff. 20-25 across the 32-32. Clovis has not been able to get a long run back against BHS tonight. As we're under 7 minutes to play in this ball game. About 6:58 to play. First and 10 for the Cougars at their own 33-yard line. BHS 21, Clovis 6.
Not over with yet, because if Clovis can get a score here and score quickly, we know they'll try an onside kick. There's plenty of time in this game. Turnovers can be a big factor. Bakersfield needs, in my opinion, to come up with a big play defensively or a big stop, maybe get a turnover, and really put this game away. Right now, it's still anybody's game.
It was 7-0 at the half in favor of BHS, 7-6 after 3. Now it's 21-6 BHS. And the Cougars, Patrick to throw. Good protection, fires it out to McCormick. The pass is caught out of bounds at the 44-yard line. He was hit out of bounds. So McCormick, his favorite receiver, with another reception for a first down as he does a tightrope act along the right sideline.
Mark McCormick's a very impressive receiver. You'll agree. They have Mackey on him and McGill on him, and he's still been able to break off and get free a little bit. So when Patrick has time to throw, we know he likes to go to McCormick. He's kind of a specialty around that sideline, those down and outs and tiptoeing around the sideline, keeping those feet in.
As you know, he caught one long pass earlier in the ball game against double coverage on a long pass by Patrick just in front of us at the 10. So he's had a very fine game as a receiver, and I'm sure that he's probably one of the top receivers in the Valley in the central section. He definitely knows how to run patterns, get open, and has good hands. First and 10 for the Cougars at their own 43-yard line against that BHS defense. Second man through. 44 the ball carrier. Carried the ball about 4 times tonight. Used very sparingly. Ryan James, McGill stops him after a gain of 3 or 4 yards as it gets up to the 48-yard line.
Again, Mark, I really think in this juncture of the game, Clovis is taking too long to call the plays in. I mean, you need to hurry it up a little bit more now because you're getting down to that nitty-gritty fourth quarter time.
With the play action, Hosey on the quarterback. The pass complete. Short gain to about the 49 in BHS territory. And they do not get out of bounds. The clock continues to run. It's at 6:10 now here in the fourth quarter. Third down and 3 for Clovis. The receiver was not able to get out of bounds. That will cost him about 25, 30 seconds. They are not like Clovis West. They don't get up to the line of scrimmage quite like CW does. Patrick, given to the second man through. Walker, he'll be close to the first down marker. I think he has it. If they spot it right there at the 46 of BHS territory. First and 10 for the Cougars. The clock continues to run. Stop it momentarily at 5:44, but it's BHS 21 and Clovis 6. They got to start coming up with some 20-yard plays. They can get 3 more first downs before they score here, but a lot of the clock's going to be run down. Patrick play action. Heavy rush by BHS, and they sack him back at his own 40. He could not unload it. McDermott again, and on the quarterback. Smith, Chambers in hot pursuit.
Mark, they don't have an answer from McDermott here in the fourth quarter. You know, when that quarterback's rolling out, McDermott knows, and he comes from the right side, and there's no answer for Clovis to stop him. He shows great speed and just a tenacity to go after the quarterback, and he has really been putting the heat on and the quarterback Patrick here in the fourth quarter, especially with Bakers having a bigger lead now.
6'2", 225, number 88. Second and 24 for the Cougars. There's a play action. Over the middle, pass picked off by BHS, by McGill. Midfield 50 to the 40. Stays on his feet, loses the ball. It's down to 26. BHS says they have it. And officials say it's a first down for the Drillers. So James McGill, the quarterback back there, extra defensive back for BHS, has the pickoff.
Mark, that play was set up by the pressure on the quarterback. He threw that ball before he wanted to, and McGill's basically in center field as a free safety there, playing back with Osborne made the tackle.
He overshot his intended receiver.
Yeah, made the catch, not the tackle, and ran it back into Clovis territory. Again, the pressure on the Clovis offense by the BHS front four has really made a difference here in the fourth quarter.
And BHS with the ball at the Clovis 25. McGill on a keeper to the 15, 10-yard line, puts his head down, runs over people inside the 5.
You know, Mark, we talked earlier, the second half is fourth quarter. Where's this option been earlier? Again, McGill in the belly series fakes off to the fullback and then runs around the outside. Again, they're using that kind of option play that they didn't use at all in the first half, and it's wide open in this game.
For some reason, Dennis, he's having some nice openings to the right side. He's been running almost exclusively to that side, and he's getting them blocked, and Clovis is not coming up. And, of course, the DBs, he just runs over them. We talked about his size.
Well, Mark, the thing is, this play should have been in their repertoire earlier because his best asset is his running ability, and he's getting on the outside on the option. He's much better to run the football than he is throwing. But earlier in the game, they had him in the pocket, you know, running in the pocket, scrambling around, not being sure what he wanted to do. Now, he's just taking the ball and running it.
Yeah, he's deciding beforehand. It's an actual play. Prior to that, he'd go back to pass and be very indecisive. Then he decided to run the football when people were around him. He'd get sacked for maybe a 4 or 5 yard loss, or he would be very fortunate to get back to the line of scrimmage. But I think the Clovis defense is somewhat tired. They've been on the field quite a bit here in the fourth quarter, but he's using his speed and his power to gain a lot of yards, but primarily running right.
Well, yeah, and I'm just saying earlier he was rolling out. I mean, he was going in the pocket, drop back, not being sure what to do. He's not comfortable doing that. He hasn't played for 5 years. What he needs to do is take the ball, either hand to the fullback in the belly or bring it back and just run the football. And that's what he's doing now. Be a running quarterback. That's his best asset. Forget the throwing. Just run the football. They're a much better team when he runs the ball at quarterback instead of throwing.
BHS with the ball, first and goal from the Clovis 6, 4:21 to play. Gives it to Kindred, powers his way to about the 3-yard line. Almost the entire Clovis defense tries to push him back. Kindred with his second carry tonight, number 14, the fullback for BHS. Probably gets to about the 3-yard line.
Well, Mark, what's good about this drive is for Bakersfield, even if they don't score, it's using precious seconds on the clock. What they want to do is keep the ball away from Clovis. And what this is doing right now is it's running that clock down. That's the most important thing.
Okay, second and goal for BHS. The Clovis 3.
Second and goal.
Osborne, line up wide left for BHS. Kindred and Diaz in the backfield behind McGill. Diaz with the ball to the right. Touchdown, BHS. For Diaz, his third consecutive score tonight, short range. Good blocking.
Yeah, you're right, Mark. Diaz looked a little better here in the fourth quarter. He's running a little bit harder. He looks like he's gained some confidence, especially after that touchdown. You know, when you're a new runner, you get in there and you haven't done a lot, you know, you're a little tentative. But I think after he made that option, that pitch option earlier in the fourth quarter when he scored, I think he got some confidence. And I think on this drive here, he's running a little bit harder. And he just saw an opening there off the right tackle. And he got a nice block there, Mark, from number 77, Ralph Lobos, 6'1", 239, the junior right tackle, and kind of sprung him on that play for the score.
As you notice, BHS has been running almost exclusively to the right side in this last quarter. And has been very successful off the option and even a lot of Diaz touchdowns. The option touchdown of Diaz right side. McGill, most of his runs have been run to the right side. That touchdown also run to the right side. You talk about Diaz, he's been more explosive getting to the hole. He was more tentative earlier in the game.
Well, yeah, but you talked about running to the right side. I don't think there's anything about the Clovis defense. I think he's a right-handed quarterback, and I think it's easier to go to the right side, and it's easier to pitch the ball with your right hand going right. So I think they're doing that more because he's right-handed, as opposed to any weakness in the Clovis defense on that side. But basically, Mark, I don't know. I just think it's McGill, Mark, just being able to run the football here in the second half, getting out, being more sure of himself, and he feels much more confident when he's running. He hasn't really looked for the pass here in the fourth quarter, and you can see he's been running more effectively. And I think he's gotten some more confidence. And I don't know if you agree with me or not, but I think they're probably more effective for him. Just take the ball and just run the football. Hand the ball off to Diaz or run, or give the ball to the fullback and forget the pass. Just pass on occasion, but run the football. You can be a running quarterback. He's more effective doing that. He's a big, strong kid, and he's better at running than he is throwing.
Well, with their defense, they're going to stay in most games and not be ahead. It's not like they're going to be down by 20 or 30 points unless they're playing Concord de La Salle. They scored 3 times there in the fourth quarter, BHS. And you thought they were tired early in the third quarter. Running back is thrown down by McDermott and company.
Well, Mark, I think you'd have to agree after the devastating loss last week to De La Salle, which obviously is a step up from the team they're playing now in Clovis. But Bakersfield really has bounced back well. I thought the offense for the first time this year really started coming together in the fourth quarter here. And they scored on a pretty good Clovis defense. This is not a bad Clovis football team. They came in here 2-0. They beat Mount Whitney, and they beat Fresno Bullard 45-0. So they're not a bad football team. They 2-0. Simons always has a good team, and beating them 28-6 is a pretty good showing for your football team.
Patrick, and a handoff to...
Kind of up the middle to number 15. Hines gets up to about the 27. I'm very surprised that Clovis was able to score that many points against those teams. They're playing against the BHS defense. It doesn't look to me like they have that kind of offensive talent for that type of fireworks.
Well, I think, most teams don't have the size and the height and the speed of the BHS defensive ends and linebackers. I mean, you find me how many guys have a Calvin Hosey, a McDermott, and then a Stansberry, and then give me Aaron Graham in linebacker. You're not going to find too many teams in the Valley, Mark, that have that kind of size and speed and range.
Patrick trouble with the handoff. Throws a long downfield from McCormick, and he's got it. Is it a completion? Yeah, they ruled it a completion. Out of the BHS 37, double coverage by Mackey and McGill, and McCormick still caught it.
Well, Mark, again, McGill wasn't really over. He came over to attempt a double team, but Mackey got beat again. And Mark, there's really not a lot of excuse for that. You know it, you're ahead, you know they're going to go deep. Mackey should be playing deeper in that secondary, and you shouldn't let a McCormick get behind you on that. That's definitely a mistake by the Mackey, the defensive left corner of BHS.
Was a situation where McCormick just followed the ball better than Mackey. He weaved under it better. 1st and 10 for Clovis. Out off number 28 to about the 30-yard line, 31. Very short gain for Toliente. It'll be 2nd and 7. Calvin Hosey with a tackle for BHS, number 45. 2 minutes on the clock. 20-6 BHS. Call it 2nd and 4. From the BHS 31-yard line. Chris Patrick, our quarterback. Justin Bridges done the time at center tonight for Clovis. Patrick going to his left, pass over the middle, complete. Receiver stays on his feet, gets to about the 10-yard line. He was hit by McGill, but bounced off that tackle. Now a late flag comes in. The reception by number 20. Levance Ray over the middle. Breaks a couple of tackles, goes inside the 10, I believe. And a face masking penalty against BHS. So it'd be first and goal for Clovis.
Well, Mark, a little bit of a sloppy defensive series here for Bakersfield High. They look like they let up a little bit, Mark. They got out in front, and a nice pass to McCormick really set Clovis up, but I think you'd have to agree they got a little bit out in front, got a little complacent here, got a little sloppy, made some mistakes, and Clovis now deep in their own territory, a chance to score now.
And Clovis will probably not. BHS calls a timeout. Looking over things defensively. 1:27 to play in a ball game. 20-6 in favor of the Drillers, as Clovis has the first and goal situation just inside the 5 of the 4.
And we know when Clovis scores, or if they score, that they're going to go for the onside kick.
Yeah, so, if they score.
Yeah, and the thing is, if they go for the onside kick, which we're sure they'll do, we might have some more fireworks. But again, Bakersfield having a pretty solid football game here today, Mark. Possibly giving up a score here late in the game, but the defense has played well. And, you can't knock a defense who holds a team that's averaging over 30 points a game. You hold them to, to 6 points, and if they score, it'd be 15. They'll probably go for 2.
We'll see what happens. I formation behind Patrick. Levance Ray wide to the right. Patrick's ball carrier, touchdown. Nobody even touched him. Wow, what a hole. Could drive a truck through that. James with a touchdown, number 44. His eyes had to be big.
Well, I think there was a lack of intensity there by Bakersfield, Mark. Looked like they let up a little bit on this drive here. They, they probably think they have the game won, and that was an easy score for Clovis. I think Bakersfield has to realize there's still a little bit of time left on the clock, but they definitely had a letdown on that series here.
And they're going for 2 points. It is 28-12. Took Clovis about 2 minutes to score there. Ray in motion. Patrick going to his left, looking for the end zone. Now runs back to his right, and he's put down. What a tackle by Calvin Holsey. Got his big arm around Patrick's neck and just slammed him to the turf. 2 points, not successful by the Cougars, 20-12.
Yeah, Calvin Holsey really smelled that out. And like I said, Mark, Hosey and McDermott are very effective on the outside. You got Stansbury in the middle along with Graham and Dunlap. But, it's very difficult to get to the outside on Bakersfield, Mark, with Hosey and, McDermott. 2 big, strong, football players, defensive end, have good size.
Clovis came back very quickly in that drive, but as you said, BHS probably let up just a bit. The Drillers have been so tough defensively in this game. They scored in under 2 minutes. I'm sure that Clovis will try an onside kick here. Well, basically they have to, with 1:23 left in the ball game, and they're down 20-12. They have no other choice. And BHS lining up for the potential onside kick. They have Osborne, Graham, McDermott, some of the receivers up deep. McGill, the quarterback, on the far side. Kindred over there. And of course it comes to Mr. Osborne, who falls on it. Short-handed shortstop Pat Osborne.
Right, he's got those hands. Just
had
like
to touch the ball,
he had to spend time talking to the quarterback, Patrick. Both of them play shortstop. One plays for Clovis, the other one plays for BHS. Unfortunately for Osborne, in baseball, Clovis comes out on top.
What, Clovis beat him about 15-0 last year in the semifinals? They really ripped the Drillers, who had a good team. Then Clovis beat Centennial 8-2 in the Valley Finals. So they beat both of the top teams in Bakersfield. McGill, the keeper, hit and dropped at the line of scrimmage as the clock is down to 1:12 in the ball game. Definitely a victory for BHS of 28-12, as I've actually felt a raindrop on my forehead for the first time tonight. Just a very small, tiny raindrop. It wasn't a big drop.
Well, Mark, right now Bakersfield's trying to use the clock and get this game winding down and come out of here with a victory. Well, you know, in the Pigskin Classic, you got the 21-21 tie with Foothill and Buchanan, and now we've got Bakersfield winning the second game. So, Mark, Kern County football, no matter what happens in the third game, will not come out a loss this year. The worst we can do is a one win, one victory, one loss, and one tie. So well, Kern County representing well this year compared to last year.
As you know, BHS beat Clovis in the Pigskin last year in Fresno, but unfortunately came back to play them in the Valley Finals and got beat in a fog bowl in a game in which we were supposed to do on Time Warner, but we couldn't do it because the cameras couldn't pick up the player through the fog.
Well, Mark, I think Bakersfield, though, I really believe that they're going to get better this year. And the reason why I say this, I think the offense will get better as McGill gets more experience. The defense is set. Normally during the course of a season, Mark, the offense will improve more, especially with you newer guys. And I think Bakersfield's going to get much better, but the improvement will be on offense, and that's where they need it. As the offense improves, they might have a shot at that Valley Championship.
37 seconds to play. McGill takes a knee down on a second down situation for BHS. 20-12 Drillers. As they'll just let the clock wind down as they'll pick up another victory this year. The record will be 2-1. They defeated Antelope Valley 20-0, lost last week to De La Salle 40-20, and have a victory tonight against the Clovis Cougars.
Mark, good victory for Bakersfield tonight. They came back after a disappointing defeat last week, and I thought they played very solid, especially in the second half. Defense the whole game. The offense got going in the fourth quarter. So a good victory for Coach Tim Hartnett.
Well, BHS led at 7-0 at the half. It was 7-6 after 3, but the Drillers dominated in the final quarter, scoring 3 times. McGill to Diaz for 35 yards off the option. Then they blocked the punt, recovered at the 4-yard line. Diaz scored again from 4 yards away. That was at the 7:04 mark. 3:28 mark. Diaz scores from 3 yards away to make it 26. Clovis finishes the scoring at 1:23 left as James scores from 3 yards away, but a little too late for Clovis as BHS 28, Clovis 12. My brother will have an interview probably with head coach Tim Hartnett of BHS in just a moment. The final score, the Drillers 28, the Cougars 12. You're watching the high school football game of the week exclusively on CNN SI, Time Warner Cable, Channel 52.
The ravages of time. Just like paint, tape can oxidize, and oxygen is slowly eating away your most cherished family videos. A baby's first steps, first words, first birthday. These memories, once lost, can never be recovered. You can't stop time, but you can fight oxidation by duplicating your videos at Time Warner Productions. Our state-of-the-art repair and duplication services can help preserve your memories for future generations. Time Warner Productions, located at 3600 North Select Avenue in the Time Warner Cable Building. Holiday Ford Lincoln Mercury is clearing out the 98s. Now we have $1,000 cash back, plus 0.9% financing on Escorts, Contours, Mystiques, Tracers, and Rangers. Now that's real savings. How about a red carpet lease on a new 98 Explorer? Come in and buy one, and the first payment up to $500 is on us. Don't make a wrong turn. Make the turn for Lerdo Highway in Shafter. We're easy to get to from both the 5 and 99 freeways. Say habla español.
Come to Holiday!
Over the last 60 years, Chan Younger has helped thousands of accident victims. Oil field work is some of the most dangerous work around. Many people are seriously injured or killed as a result of faulty equipment and poor safety training. We didn't want this to continue, so we fought until changes in oil field safety were made. Accidents still happen, and when they do, we'll be there for you.
Okay, we're here on the post-game show with Time Warner. We're here with Jermaine McDermott. Jermaine, a fine game tonight. What was the key to the defense tonight?
Hard hitting, you know, wrapping up, reading our keys. That's the key to defense every week. So just try to do that, you know, game in, game out.
Well, you know, last week with De La Salle, I'm sure that was disappointing for the defense, 48 points. Tonight you got back in the groove. I really thought you put a lot of pressure on the quarterback tonight, Patrick. Was that in the game plan?
Yeah, pressure the quarterback is always in the game plan. You know, hit the running backs. If you hit them enough times and they don't want to run your way no more, that's what we try to do at Bakersfield. But De La Salle was disappointing because our defense is better than that. You know, we play better than that. We think we're better than that. So we just didn't show the game that we wanted to that day. Well,
especially in the second half, I think you put a lot of pressure on the quarterback, Patrick, especially you coming in and really making him throw the ball really before he wanted to. And I thought that was the key to the game.
Yeah, that's what our coach said. We need more pressure on the quarterback because he's a scrambler. He's a good. I give it up to Clovis because they're a good team. We just wanted to, you know. So we go out there, we play our hearts out, and we try game in and game out. We try to flush out the quarterback. That's what Coach told us to do, and that's what we did.
Well, you played a fine game tonight. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.